Well, hello, internet friends, and welcome to episode number 117 of FinalBossTV. This is the last open Q&A live stream for Legion. I am joined by two nerds. We've made a Jack sandwich. So there's AutomaticJak. Hi, Jack.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
And then there's Val up top. He's the top piece of bread.
Up top?
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, Val.
There's something on top of his head there.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
What's on top of his head?
So it's so bright and fuzzy.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Feel like lightened up a little bit.
Oh my god.
You can touch it on BlizzCon if you want to.
Touch
Oh.
up.
Oh, a touch up. Okay.
Oh, we're in the priest class hall.
We are in the priest class hall.
Oh my god, I love it.
I just kind of put like, unless you guys are talking about something specific, I usually just put like scenic background shots when we're talking and discussing things and taking questions. So
I like it.
I guess the only major question I want to open up with here is to each of you. So Val, have you... There's been this back and forth for a while now with the ranged DPS classes now. With ooh, that thunder though. Florida, please don't disconnect my internet. That people have been really concerned about, you know, what's the best DPS. Everyone always wants to know what's the best, rankings, blah, 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 blah. So in all of your ranged DPS testing, have you seen there's like a huge divide, or is like everything pretty outside of like maybe a niche with like super burst AoE, like with Demonology Warlock or whatever? What have you found with the ranged DPS classes? I guess sans Hunters for you, but...
It depends on the fight, and it depends on the player, basically. They're all viable.
Great answer.
All viable.
All viable, every single one of them.
Yes. Yes.
Balance
Balance?
Of
course.
in this current year.
Yes.
What? What do you mean Bano introduced us? I introduced both of you.
He said like hi. In our
I
names.
did say hi.
It's our background.
What's your background? What do you have a background story, Jack?
Sure. I mean, I thought Val was gonna go first.
Well, I was gonna ask each of you a question, and then that would lead in.
All right, we have like the foreplay first. All right, is it my turn for the question?
I don't know. Is it?
I think so.
Is that all? It's all you got, Val? I mean, that's what I've been telling people for a very long time. Is that there's A, we can't know what's best. B, there'll be balance hotfixes every freaking reset. And C, we don't even know how it's going to really shake down because we don't have tier sets until January, February.
Blizzard specifically said that if they could avoid it, they would not touch class balance in between patches. So if nothing happens before launch from now, we probably won't see anything unless there's some extreme outlier until 7.1.
I mean, I thought they said that with like going into WoD, and then they completely neutered Windwalker monks.
On what they
Everyone was like, Windwalker monks are the best. Then they just like destroyed them first week of Heimdall.
Okay, if you want like a super niche thing, like in Saviors, Shadow is probably gonna stomp everything because you can surrender to Madness twice. So that's it. Shadow's OP confirmed.
How do you surrender to Madness twice?
When he ports you into the dream phase or whatever it is, I can't remember the exact name of it, you can surrender. And if you die to surrender to Madness in there, resets when you die, and when you get to 30%, you pop it again and blast.
You talking about this is for Cenarius?
No, Saviors.
Oh, Xavius. Oh,
Xavius.
Xavius' phase change shouldn't reset that death thing.
But that's
It
only
does
if
if
you
you
get the
die
dream
to it.
first. Right? Because there's two phases where you get the dream.
No, it doesn't matter like which dream
Really?
phase you get. If you get the first,
Okay.
actually, the second phase is better because you have like.
Yeah, because it's
bit
closer
uptime
to like
and things.
execute and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like ideally, you want to get the second dream phase. You die to surrender inside the dream phase, then you go out, then you wait until you reach execute phase, sub 35%, and then you blast again.
Oh yeah, that's what Baloney was.
If you're like,
yeah, so you die
you're
on
like a healer
Xavius,
on that fight.
you don't
Yeah.
actually die. Oh, you get ported to the dream state. Oh, that's right.
So if you're a healer on that, you want to get it in. You want to die or get the dream state first because then you could burn a bunch of mana, then you get reset back to your full mana.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So, with that question out of the way, then Val, why should anyone listening right now, in the future or in the past, care about what you have to say? What's your background, sir? What have you been up to with beta testing and whatnot? as the thunder rolls. Jeez.
What, just the beta testing or what? Or just like some more? Well,
Yeah,
basically.
Back BlizzCon champion.
Okay, so you should care. You should minorly care because I have like 5 years of experience in raiding with Method at the top level, world second, world first for several years. So that's it. And most recently, I've done a lot of beta testing, raiding with Consequence. It's like what, world 38 at the moment. Yeah. Shout out to Knuckles, the greatest GM in the world. Yeah, that's about it.
And what did Jak say? BlizzCon champion.
Back to
class?
back BlizzCon champion.
His
Yeah.
Tinder profile. It's back-to-back BlizzCon champion.
Oh, that's his Tinder profile?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
What was the last time I checked?
No, it's actually
but,
Twitter.
Oh, what was the last time you swiped right
Twitter.
on him? Is that...
I mean, you can only do it once, man. And then it's for
Yeah.
life.
That's
Yeah.
true. Damn. Basically, he's a big deal, and Jack's a scrub. Ah, yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
well, I mean, we're Americans, so you don't really, you don't
Wow.
have the world first.
Wow.
What? I mean, just saying.
Yeah, you don't get the luxury
the
of taking off a ton of time for, well, depending on your job, I guess you do, but not as much.
Right.
So, okay, Jak, then a question for you then, sir.
All right, ready.
So, Monkey was on the show a couple weeks ago. We kind of talked about some healer stuff back then, too, which is kind of why I wanted to bring another healer back on, just to, like, sandwich the healer debate, because this is probably the most tumultuous changes to the healer style ever.
Yeah.
I would want to say, just because, like, for the first time in forever, mana is gonna really matter for you guys. So I was curious what your thoughts are on, like, the way healers were gonna feel in Legion. Do like people are like Resto Druids have a leg up because they have a mana regen talent and no other healer does. Blah. But is that
Disc Priests, well. No, I think healer balance is going to be like the best it's ever been in like so many ways. They've done a lot to facelift a lot of the classes that were really needing it. One for disc, but I think overall with just community stuff, everyone has like a different-ish opinion of what's going to be great, what's going to be bad. So it just kind of shows that things are getting closer and closer. I mean, there's probably going to still be a best, you know. People are still going to want like one of this or one of that, but you know, for the majority of people, you could probably just play whatever and you'll be just fine. You know, you want to have healer diversity. Play what you're good at, yeah. So you want to have diversity in your healing composition, but you know, get a lot of flexibility, especially with Holy. Like Holy can fit into like any kind of comp and that really, really well. We had a couple testings with when I was playing with Reckoning. We had like 3 or 4 Holy Priests doing our fights. So we like just chained Symbol of Hopes. It was great.
Yeah, is that, I mean, Symbol of Hope will be good probably on like progression-oriented fights. I'm thinking like we brought up...
It's mandatory for progression.
Right, yeah, I mean, Val brought up Xavius. I don't think it's going to be mandatory on every single encounter just because some fights are like 3 or 4 minutes long. You think even on short fights? Yeah?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because, I mean, most classes have mana dumps. Most of them. I mean, Paladins kind of cry about that, but just the fact that you can have a raid-wide HPS increase by taking this talent, you know, it could be super, super nice.
Right.
So, mandatory on progression.
Well, depends on the fight, really, because it's not every fight you just want to dump your mana, and it's not every fight where you need to do it.
Well, yeah, but there's times where you can be efficient. Like, I'm not saying you're going to dump your mana and then use Symbol, but you're going to use Symbol and then be able to use those mana-dumping spells for free, you know? And it almost always, really, if your healers are playing properly and they're actually tracking it, will result in a raid-wide HPS increase, you know? Because they're able to cast more things more efficiently and they're able to have mana that they'll be able to use later on, much more so than you just having a little benefit to yourself. So, Symbol of Hope is just going to be a raid-wide HPS increase during progression. During farm, yeah, you can be a little Parsour. It's cool.
Because people brought that up, too, about the power of Innervate with Resto Druids, and they were wondering if that's going to, like, if you're going to have, like, a Resto Druid and a Holy Priest in every group makeup now. Because technically Innervate is a raid cooldown now. You put that on, like, your Monk, and they just go to town AoE healing, or you put that on your Holy Priest, and you
I will say that anybody who thinks the rest of Druids are going to use it on somebody else is sadly mistaken.
Really? You think so?
Yeah,
Like
people are going to be really selfish. They're going to be very selfish. That's how it's gonna go. 100%.
Interesting.
All the druids in Trad know. They just know it's gonna happen. Like, we can ask, we can try to be nice, but
we could try. We could ask.
I'm telling you, like, you can ask, but don't expect much.
I mean, can a Resto Druid, like, what's a Resto Druid gonna use Innervate with? Just like blanketing. I mean, I guess you can move FLO really easily.
They're gonna use it with whatever they want.
I guess so.
Spam those rejuice.
They're gonna spam something.
Yeah. Because it feels like that Restoration Druids, because, and that brings me back to the whole talent issue, that they have, like, better, I guess not better mana regen than others, but it feels like their mana is so much more, because they're like the only real throughput healer now. Mistweaver Monks kind of have some, and so do Restoration Shamans, but, like, I'm looking at my Restoration Druid now. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 heal over times. Technically 7.
Well, yeah.
Because if you want to add in like Flourish or the Essence of Gahanir, so like you got Gahanir, you know, they're so throughput.
Say that again.
Gahanir.
Gonorrhea.
No, excuse me.
We're going places we shouldn't know.
Yeah, I know. What's going on?
I don't know. Just working with what you give me.
Yeah, I don't know. So then, I guess to come back around for that one, then, if you want an introduction, Jak, why should people listen to what you have to say, and what kind of background do you have in playing healers, sir? What you got?
Well, unfortunately, I'm American, so I'm not going to be any world firsts anytime soon. But I play for Incarnate. It's top 100 world, top 20 US. I was playing Holy all of HFC progression. Suck it, nerds.
Jeez.
They finally made Holy like super awesome. So I'm so happy making that in Legion. My guides are up on Wowhead for Disc and Holy if you want to check them out. Look at these nice views that you're giving us. They're fantastic. You're the best views. All right.
Wow. I have the best views, Jak 2016.
You have the best views.
Okay.
You know, of Val, Shira, wherever the hell this is, you know.
Galanox says during a high tank damage phase of a fight, sometimes I'll innervate myself and just spam regrowth.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Druids are just going to find some way to innervate themselves, you know?
Interesting. I guess it depends on your I guess your team coordination and how friendly your healer team is. That you're like, no, my innervate, bad Jak, bad.
They're still going to use it on themselves. Like,
okay.
There's some things that just, it's like Tiger's Lust, you know? People are just going to use Tiger's Lust for themselves. It's going to happen. Road goes around.
So Necro, we could kind of answer your question, but remember that Val is a ranged DPS and Jak is a dirty healer. So it was a question about, do the DPS and tank Demon Hunter balance out when they get their artifacts? I guess what I can turn this around is it for you, Jak. Have you been doing any dungeons or anything like that with? I mean, we did raid testing together. And
yeah, once or twice.
And then we had Avengers Demon Hunter tanking. That was a while ago, though. But have you done anything more recent? And how do you feel Vengeance feels to heal?
I've done some, I think, with either Reckoning or Promethean, where they've had Vengeance tanks. Is it Vengeance tanks?
Yeah, Vengeance tank.
Demon Hunter tanks, yeah. So, like, really early on, it was a disaster. But so far, I mean, it kind of feels a little bit similar to Blood DK, where you'll see them healing themselves quite a bit, but you got to watch out for some spikes. So, I mean, the learning curve is just going to be a really big deal, but once people get over it, I think it'll be just as good. You know, it'll be just fine. It's one thing when something new comes out. I mean, like, you should have seen the forums when everyone started playing Disc on beta again, like when they released beta for everybody. It was like wall of text complaints or wall of text, like, I can't do anything, you know? Yeah. Or if you try to, like, DPS or tank through a dungeon, you get a Disc Priest, everyone, like, freaks out because nobody knows how to play it, you know? So once that kind of calms down, it gets a lot better.
Vengeance is just inherently, like, harder to heal and play compared to, like, a Paladin and a Warrior, because you rely on different mechanics. You have, like, the big self heal, which you don't on, like, Paladin. Well, you do have a smaller heal on Paladin, but on a Warrior as well, because you have block as a central mechanic in those classes.
Right.
So, and you have a lot higher armor as well. So you're less reliant on your active play on those two compared to Demon Hunter, because you have to, like, play more around Soul Cleave and such, and your fire abilities, because you get healed by those.
Guppy and Chaz talking about how the new disc is awful because you have to apply atonement, but and it'd be better if you didn't have to apply atonement. But that was just Mop, and Mop got insane really quick.
Right.
You know, it was just mindless at the end. We were just pure DPS.
Yeah.
Like late Siege Order one was like whatever. Well, you spent some bubbles, but that was about it.
You have to have like this this feedback loop. Yeah.
You gotta have skill to this.
Well,
it's been pretty mind-numbing past 2 expansions of playing Disc. You know?
Yeah.
There's been like there's definitely been skill cap and skill gap between players, but you would always bring one anyway. You know, so now there's actually people fighting to earn their spot. You know, you're not just like, oh, you play this class, you're in. So
the fighting for your spot to me is kind of weird, depending, I guess, your guild structure. Because, like, you don't really fight for spots directly. I mean, a healer core in most guilds, like, you'll run with, like, 1 extra or, like, 1 swap healer. But you don't have, like, 8 healers on a 25-man roster, you know? So...
Thankfully.
Right. And then even... I don't know if it was part of the raid testing with you or just when I was doing stuff with Word Up. And we were running... This Mythic testing when it first came out. I'm sure there's been tweaks since then. But we were running... like 4.5 or 5.5 healers on every Mythic fight. Like, it was always 4 in a disc or 5 in a disc, and we were still getting wrecked. Like, the early Mythic test for Crosis, like, if you didn't have 5 healers, the whole raid just kept dying. So
yeah, they've kind of toned it down since then.
Okay.
I think we used 4 on our test.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot more 4.
4 makes the most sense. 4 to 4.5, I think, is the sweet spot. I want to say.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was asking about Mastery. Mastery is actually insane for Holy Priests in Legion. It's like super, super good. They took out Absorb, so the damage patterns are a lot more favorable to it. We're using a lot more direct healing, which is a lot more favorable to Mastery. It's like ridiculous. Super, super nice.
So Necro had a follow-up question. Do you think they'll always have a spot in raids? I don't know if Vengeance will always have a spot in raids from, like, my perspective. I feel like Vengeance Demon Hunters are a lot better in, like, Keystone dungeons, Mythic Plus dungeons, because of their utility in there. Whereas, like, in a raid, at least, you talked about tanks last week, it was just, like, Prot Warrior, Guardian Druid, and then Prot Paladin. But now they brought down Guardian a little bit, and they're gonna nerf Ignore Pain. Just, it's gonna happen, so... I do wonder about that. I don't know. I mean, it depends on your guild. Like, if you're raiding on, like, a super high-end Mythic guild, like, it depends on what you need for a fight. And those tanks and those guilds will change tanks depending on if they have them all, geared up, depending on if a fight needs a different tank. Like, back when we were doing, I'm sure when all 3 of us were doing Mythic Iron Maidens back in BRF, you had to have a Brewmaster Monk on the boat. So you had a Brewmaster Monk all of a sudden. But you only had it for, like, that fight.
Yeah.
So, and then you brought it back for Blackhand, I guess, if you tanked
the
get
pounded in the corner. Pounding the corner strat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That and the double Holy Pally, which like sprouted out of nowhere once BRF got started, because they saw like a handful of really good guilds who were like double Holy Pally, and they're like, oh my god, everybody. So all of Blackrock Foundry was like double Holy Paladin for most guilds.
But really, if you're outside the top 5, what spec and what class you play, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter. As long as you like it and you're good at it and you pull your own weight, it's fine. Like,
you don't die early with Surrender to Madness. That kind of thing.
That's, I think, a lot of I mean, so you bring up Surrender to Madness now, and I'll bring this up before I grab some more questions in chat. Because that's been funny in HFC for the past couple of weeks with my Shadow Priest. So like it feels like they just, because the fights last so short, they just basically pop it on pull, and then they fight the last little bit to not die early. But that mentality is dead in Legion, right? Like you have to know.
Oh yeah.
There are only certain parts of a fight you can do that though, right?
Yeah, like you're pretty much gonna use Surrender to Madness exclusively on progress, pretty much all the time. But the only fight you're gonna use it before execute phases and saviors. That's it.
Okay.
Most fights you're probably looking at popping it 20-25%, depending on like the fight and how it works out in the end. Maybe 30%, depending on like how much execute DPS you're gonna funnel in the end. They
just nerfed the insanity gains recently though, so how long can
you keep it up?
Right, exactly.
Real question. How long can you keep it up?
Exactly. Without
keep what up?
Surrender to Madness. How long can you stay in void form? Do you need a fluffer?
Now on live, or like once we get to rating?
Well, I mean, it's the same. It's gonna be the same relatively. Basically, they nerfed the insanity gain. So
no. We have the artifact that changes a lot for surrender.
Ooh. Give us a lowdown.
But you're not gonna stay in STM for like 3 minutes.
Not initially. When maybe like T20, we might be able to again.
So how long do you foresee? I mean, based on either testing or some simming, how long with the artifact? How long can you stay in STM? Like, is it like a 90-second, 100-second?
The average player could probably do really good 2 minutes at max. And that's maxing. Like good RNG on shadowy operations and such, 2 minutes. But you're probably not gonna go over that.
Right. So you always say an average would be closer to like 90 to 100 seconds then, yeah?
Yeah.
Like
your average player.
And then you die.
I mean, you die.
Horribly.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So you have like the little time to die thing that you can track when the boss is estimated to die and then pop it accordingly.
Yeah, actually, like the default time to die tracking, they're not that accurate. We actually have one of the guys in Hot Priest Spinal Crack who made an exclusive weak aura just for Surrender to Madness. Like, so it takes your fastest 10 kills, then it like averages out the kill time, and then it tells you when to pop surrender.
Well, your fastest 10 kills.
10 kills.
You have to kill that boss 10 times?
10
It's gonna take a little while.
That's like the max it takes, like the max 10. So like when you have like 1 kill, it takes like that time. And then you calculate when you pop surrender, and then like when you get more kills, it averages it out.
But how much memory is that going to take up when it's averaging or it's recording your last 10 kills?
It doesn't take up anything.
For every fight.
You
know? It doesn't take up anything. We've tested it. Trust us.
Trust us.
Trust us.
Heard that before.
Stooped. I think if I pronounce your name right, asking about elemental shamans. Do you think elemental shaman changes were a cop-out? The new resource, but the spec hasn't changed remotely in terms of spells and or rotation. Have you dabbled on the elemental shaman, Val? What do you think?
Actually, I've been semi-forced to go as my primary alt for Legions, so yeah, I've done some stuff, and I don't know, I kind of like the change now that like shocks don't share cooldowns, and you can pretty much spam Flame Shock because it costs Maelstrom, so it varies the duration of it depending on how much you spend. But yeah, I think it's good. I haven't really played it in raid testing yet. Well, haven't at all. Probably won't play it until we actually get to raiding in Legion.
I think it's kind of cool that a lot of the classes are getting new resources, you know?
Yeah,
even if they don't work perfectly now, it's something that they can like build on for the future. You know, in a lot of ways, it seems like it's kind of like a reset for them to say, all right, let's screw this stuff. Let's start working on new things, and then we'll improve them, you know, for future expansions.
Yeah, okay. But I personally, I think Elemental feels a lot better to play now than it did before.
Fair enough.
Hopefully the damage is enough for Ellie Shamans.
Yeah, that always comes down to a weird back and forth of just balancing. But again, that's just... I mean, they have to commit to a better balance paradigm going forward. So where the heck are the healing dummies in the Wandering Isle?
They wandered away.
Jack. We're gonna fight.
Healing, leveling as a healer, somebody asked about in chat, was it's actually not bad at all. I leveled once as Disc, I leveled once as Holy. I did like a little bit of Shadow stuff. Shadow's faster, obviously, but it's not by like a huge extent. And if you're leveling as a group, which I plan to do, it's really not that big of a deal. Actually, it's really nice having a group because then you can just like Holy Nova spam. If you're playing Holy Priest, you do so much AoE damage.
That's what I've always said before, too. Like, there's been this weird thing for a long time in the community where the expansion comes out and you just level by yourself. So I guess, yeah, but you don't have to. Like, you could just get like a tank
I know
or
a lot
DPS
of people are leveling as groups.
Yeah, get a DPS or a tank to face tank stuff, and you're as a healer, and then just pull everything.
Just get DPS to pull everything, and then you'll be fine. And the healer will actually have something to heal.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not everyone has a group they can go with, but still. But that's what I was wondering. Is like just don't play by yourself. There's no reason to play by yourself.
The MMO by yourself.
Yeah, take the MM and the O out of it.
Yep.
Just play it like a single player game. What are you playing? SWTOR? I mean, what? So
Sponsor. Or sellout.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know.
Play what you want. Level what you want. You know.
But yeah, healer leveling isn't bad. What would you say is from your experience then, what's the most... I know the answer to this question, or at least I should. What healer has the most DPS?
I think Boomy Affinity, what people were saying, was the most DPS. I think.
So Restokin then.
I think, yeah. Holy does a lot of damage. Holy Priest does a lot of damage, but it's really boring.
Yeah.
Disc does a lot of damage, and it gets way better once you get your artifacts. Something that Holy won't actually have as damage increases through their artifact, thankfully, because that's not, what we should be doing. Mm-hmm. But, they both do a lot of damage. The thing of it with, like, Disc Priest, though, is, like, they're built around doing damage while healing, so their damage, at least before the artifact's a little lower, I believe, than Holy would be before Artifact. But then it gets a lot higher. I think Shockedon's fine. I saw a couple people were leveling as Holy Pally. It didn't look fun because there's like... I think Holy Pally has like the least amount of buttons of any class now, of any spec. I got on my Holy Pally for like a little bit of testing around, and there's like 2 pages, I think. That's it. There's no buttons.
Yeah, well, for DPS, you have Shock, Consecrate...
No, even for healing. Like the whole picture of Holy Pally, there's like no buttons.
Let me go check.
Which isn't a big surprise to many people, but...
Right.
It stands out when you have like literally 2 pages of stuff. It's nothing.
Yeah, it's 2.5, I guess. I guess depends how you spec. Because well,
the last page is like passives.
Right. Half of it's passive. A lot of you is in chat. I'm sure I'm behind, so I'm keeping up with questions, but I'm sure a lot of you could expound upon. But it's very. I guess you don't need a ton of different ways to heal when it's really efficient. I guess that just depends on if it's then boring.
And that's up to the player.
Right. Because you can spec for a whole bunch of heals, so you can have. Let me look. You can obviously have your beacon or double beacon or whatever, but
most talents, you have an active ability option, and the rest are passive or something.
Yeah, you've got 6, 7, 8 heals, I guess, if you spec for it.
Something like that.
8?
Yeah.
You could take Beacon of Virtue, and that's technically a heal. Not really. You got to heal after that to do it, but still. And then you can take Aura of Mercy, which is also technically a heal when you pop, Aura Mastery, but but their base kit has like 4 buttons. Mm-hmm. For sure. It all comes from talents. And I don't even know if any of those talents are that good. I have no idea. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not much.
Yeah.
What is the fastest zone to get through? What's going to be the first zone that everyone's going to go to? That's what I wanted to know, so that I don't go to that zone. It's going to crash.
I'm going to Val'Sharah.
Yeah.
Probably Asuna Val'Sharah is like the 2...
Is Bailgun a PvP realm?
No, PvE.
Damn. So we all know where to find Bay at.
Yeah, it's Bailgun Doomhammer. Bailgun Doomhammer is PvE.
Oh.
Yeah, PvE. Mm-hmm.
I'm glad there's all different opinions, because now everybody's going to go to different zones, and hopefully the game won't crash.
Yeah, I have.
Except High Mountain.
Except what?
High Mountain.
Oh, okay.
High Mountain. Is that slow?
It's the slowest zone, and you have a lot of
I never did it for time. I just took my time.
Caverns.
That's true. Yeah, you got to fight the Nagazog, Narazog, the mountain troll people, ogre.
Right.
But I'll probably start in High Mountain though.
Yeah. Because nobody wants to go there.
Yeah, easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, High Mountain will probably be my last zone, so I'll do it at close to or at max level and just crush it. So. Yeah, because it has so much just roundabout ways. It has the most nodes, I want to say, of any other zone in the game. It has the most places you go. So yeah, I
liked all the questing so far, though.
Oh,
I thought it was good.
Yeah. This goes back to Val then. Thoughts on how viable the survival hunter Demonology, Warlock. I'm guessing the question is because they both just changed so much. Are for PvE. I don't know if you've done much hunter testing, of course, but
Wait, what? Like survival hunter and what?
Demonology, Warlock. How they'll be viable for both raids and dungeons because of their reworks.
Last I saw, I think survival doing pretty okay damage, but it takes up another melee spot, and they're like other melees who bring a lot more to the table. But then again, if you are like this tight-knit core roster in your guild, and like you decide what you want to play, if you're better playing survival than some others, like yeah, go for it. Demonology, from what I've seen in our testing, has done pretty okay. I'm not sure after like the most recent nerfs, like after our testings, how they're gonna perform. But again, like most specs are likely gonna be fine.
Yeah, it really all comes
Sky's
down-
not falling.
The
No,
what?
no
The sky's
sky's
not
falling.
falling? Yeah.
Oh god, maybe that's the sky code.
There's.
Sky coder. Chaos sound, bro.
I mean, I think Survival Hunter is a lot of fun. It's like a melee affliction warlock. It has like an A and a B rotation where you put out your 17 dots, and then you spam Mongoose Bite, and you put out your 17 dots again, and then Mongoose Bite again. Like, it just goes back and forth very simply. I think it could have been a little
It's
better.
a big simple rotation. They even
Right.
buffed it recently, didn't they? I think.
They gave a little bit extra window of time to the Mongoose Bite window, I want to say. Yeah.
Anyway, a couple people were asking about like disc being not viable, inviable, or whatever. Disc is going to be viable. It'll be fine. Stop panicking.
Well, I'll give you a caveat and devil's advocate to that comment, Jack.
Oh yeah.
The
Well, let me finish.
okay.
So with raids, yes, it'll be fine. It'll be a lot harder than I guess the average healing spec to play and perform well, but you could still perform very well. Mythic Plus is going to be kind of a problem because the solo healing is kind of difficult to do with in 5-mans or whatever like that. So with doing like really high level Mythic Plus, you probably won't want to bring a disc, but Holy is actually quite good for it. Or for the Mythic Plus, I don't think Holy's the best. I think people are still saying Druid is the best, but things can change.
You're telling me
I mean,
you're not good
and
enough
you'll
to
be able to
do
get
this.
better and better gear over time to do Mythic Plus dungeons, so it'll be fine.
Oh, I was catching up in chat. Aladia's not even playing Holy Paladin. What's Aladia healing on? In before Holy Priest.
You want to know the secret?
I mean, he's already talking shit about discs, so.
Secret. No, I'm not gonna spell the secret.
Yeah, I imagine they probably don't know what they're gonna play. I mean, their logs are gonna be, closed off, and their kill videos will be closed off. So, actually, the flip side of that though is Method streaming progression because of Scott.
Oh god, the good old joke. No, they're not.
Okay, oh gosh, did you call it the good argument? Whatever it was.
The good old joke.
Oh, the good old joke. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I stream progression, but I'm only like, we're only aiming for top 50. So. Yeah, baby. We only do 14 to 16 hours a week. So. There was another question that came up that I forgot where it went. Where to go? People talking about the disc is the best.
Search for it.
For.
Disc is pretty fun with leveling.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, disc would kind of be like the 5th healer in some cases. Shorter fights, something like that.
Oh,
if
no,
they can burn a lot of mana, they'll be in good shape.
I was
What's
giving
up?
you the caveat to Discipline Priest as like
Oh, yeah,
a
the
meta, is that it's out of the 6 healing classes easily the most difficult. So the paradigm between a good disc player and a bad disc player will be very noticeable.
Yeah.
So that's the one, because it takes so much uptime.
Well, yeah, but I'm not gonna. It's not like I'm gonna say, "Hey, you guys shouldn't play this because you're bad players." Like,
Sure.
what? That kind of goes
Of course.
counterintuitive to my whole thing going on here, right? No,
But
but if you're good, if you take the time to learn it, if
That's
read
the
guides.
point I want you to say. Yeah.
It's gonna take a lot of time, a lot of effort,
It's a little easier face
To get
value to learn the other healers, whereas a little bit more to pay attention to with Discipline, because you have to be defensive and offensive to actually be worth it. Now there is a legendary, right, that does kind of make you go back to old disc, right? But isn't that like bleh?
Which one?
Isn't there? Well, you could spec for it. What's the one that makes like I don't know? I have to go log back.
Oh, you're talking
over
about
to
Grace, where your absorbs are all going to be like a lot stronger and stuff?
Isn't there one that gives you like super mega penance, and then you spec the version of penance that you can talented version that actually goes back to.
There's one that resets the cooldown of penance.
Well,
If
right.
you are smiting.
Because yeah, you could. I thought
And
there
there's
was
another
some...
one that, like, when you penance, it extends atonement on yourself and the target that gets healed.
Sure, there was something.
So.
Because I just saw people talking about. Yeah, well, they just buffed Valiane, the Feared's Clench or whatever it was.
Yeah, they buffed the bad ones.
Right.
They buffed Valiane, they buffed Skjoldir.
Right.
So.
Yeah, Power Word Shield reduces the remaining cooldown.
No, sorry, not that one. They buffed Estel. They buffed Estel and they buffed Zalan.
Oh,
that's
the robes. Yeah, Plea will increase your haste by 2% for each target with atonement for 5 seconds. Is it 2% or 3% now? I thought it's 3% now? Something like that.
It's 2%.
Okay.
They increased it from 1, didn't they?
Oh, from 1.
Or sorry, it is, yeah. They increased, Estel is now 2%, Zalan is 3 seconds. Yeah.
Right, because there was some hubbub about people just saying, like, well, eventually Discus will go back to the same meta that just doesn't spam bubbles, but just target heals people and doesn't be a DPS anymore, which I just don't think it's ever going to be a thing. So much more of your power is from doing damage. And
Yeah.
I don't know what...
So, like the Penitent talent.
Right,
Like
but
the
is
first
that...
row, it's horrible.
But is that's
Horrible.
like a PvP talent, right? Because you can't always penance
Probably.
a target offensively.
Probably.
That's what I was saying. Because like this is like a trap talent for PvE, because you lose effectiveness.
It's a noob trap.
Right. It's kind of rude to say, but yes.
Yeah, it is a noob trap. You know,
Right.
I think it's good to tell people that.
Sure.
You know,
It's like that. It's like that Arms Warrior talent that gives you like permanent uptime on Colossus Smash, which is like, no, this is bad.
Yep. Yo, Val, is there any competition for Serenity for World First? Consequence gonna go hard in the paint.
No. Like, what do you mean? Like, technically,
Yeah.
there's always competition. There are always guilds raiding. So yes,
Well, yeah.
there will be competition.
But is there realistic threat from the Euros to the other Euros?
The standard ones, Exorcist, Method. Well, I think I don't know. Like, we haven't really seen a lot from scratch and City Sail for Fail, but I think they're likely contenders if they put in the time. But I still think like it's Serenity's race to lose.
Yeah,
It's a good way to put it.
Fair. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, man actually put up
Just wait till the Russians win.
a
Wow.
decent point.
Hey,
Serenity lost like the second tank, like now, so
Oh yeah, that was.
feels bad. Feels real bad.
Yeah.
So, like,
Better
I don't
cleanse
know. Like, they have a few options in the guild, but it's gonna cost them like on other positions, like real bad.
Right.
So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what kind of roster they run with in Dent.
begging for you back. So, Bay, what's our next question?
Well, I drawing through. There's like multiple ones asking for the Serenity argument there, which I guess what's weird about that whole ball of wax is that are the top guilds? I mean, I guess they need the bragging rights, right? So they can't not go. But like the real raid race doesn't even start until Nighthold comes out, because that's the tiered raid. That's Gul'dan. That's the real end of tier 19.
A raid instance is a race. A raid instance is a race.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have World First interviews for, of course, Xavius. I'll have one for Helia, because it's going to be a Helia one-off raid.
Yeah, there's going to be, like,
and
just in this first patch, like, including 7.1, we're going to have, like, 3 races. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, no, just exactly. It's very true. There are 3 raid races in in launch.
Speaking of multiple races, I wonder when they're actually going to bring out Nighthold, and I hope it's like January. I really do.
Yeah, it's very likely January.
It sounds.
I hope so.
They've already said early 2017. I mean, that could even be February in my opinion.
Did they even say 2017?
They said early 2017 at Gamescom. Yes.
Okay. Did they say 2016 plus, or sorry, current year +1?
No, it's Jack. Why are you doing this? They said early 2017, so it sounds like a first 3 months period. Because if we get Karazhan and the Stormheim raid, which will easily be Hylia, my money's on Hylia, because it's finishing the Stormheim quest line, which is Hylia. Spoiler alert. It'll be like a Gruul's lair, like a throwaway boss, and then Hylia. I imagine like a Onyxia's lair kind of thing. Which would be cool. It's fine. But if we get that like after BlizzCon early December, then that's another like they could delay Nighthold even longer. We could literally see this first half tier lasting up to 6 months, which is fine.
I think we're gonna get Karazhan and the Stormheim raid in like November, probably after BlizzCon.
That's what I'm saying. After BlizzCon, yeah.
As long as we're not getting a year of one tier.
Well, no. Yeah.
It sounds like they're pretty set on avoiding that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Ian.
This time for sure.
Ian basically said, without saying it, that we messed up, but we got you, fam, at Gamescom.
This time.
This time. Oh, it took us 4 expansions of being this slowly getting more and more forward.
This time.
Right. This time.
I mean, we went to 14 months in Siege of Orgrimmar. Now we're what, 12 or 13 of HFC.
Well, the last 2 expansions have both been like this. Technically, the last 3, because Cataclysm didn't Dragon Soul last over a year?
It was about a year. Yeah.
And then Siege of Orgrimmar was over a year.
I didn't feel that long because I was banned for the first few.
Banned.
Wow.
Boom. It was bad. We don't talk about Dragon Soul.
That's right.
So I guess we can have an NAEU opinion on this. How do you guys think the servers will hold up this time around when launch hits? High pop queue times, DCs aplenty. If we're not getting DDoSed, it should be okay. But America launch for Warlords was fine, right, Jack? We had no problem.
What?
I had no problem. I logged in, was playing for like a 20-hour stream, 0 problems. But I heard the EU crowd, not so much.
What are you talking about?
I mean,
I remember some stuff about like NA release being quite terrible.
I had no problem.
Unless you're on like the deadest of servers. No,
well, you're
it was
saying
horrible.
If you think
it was horrible.
If you're going to say NA
Alliance.
Horde, I'm Alliance. I'm Alliance.
Yeah, because like part of the major problem was the Horde side when you built
stupid the stupid telescope.
Yeah, like sure there was the whole like bottleneck part, which was a problem.
Yeah.
But no, it was horrible for like 90% of people. Like I got a little bit lucky and I was able to play with like 200 MS because I had a buddy on like a dead server. You know, but if you weren't on a dead server, if you were like medium or higher, it was horrible. It was completely awful. That's if you got past the bottleneck.
Right. But they've done.
But I think this expansion is going to be actually really good. To be honest, I know it's a false equivalency, but Overwatch's launch was actually pretty good. They did a number of like stress tests in beta for just inviting a hell of a lot of people, and then they're like, "All right, we just gave you all beta. Tomorrow we have raid testing," and then the servers were just flooded, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's going to be a lot smoother.
Storm the gates.
Storm the gates.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what they said.
Have fun storming the castle, man.
They've
crashing your service.
They've launched Legion like 3 times already in testing. And
this is and they've already extended, or they've already increased server size and stuff like that, you know. Damn, is this the Shaman class hall? What is
this? One is now, it's Shaman class hall.
Damn, that's fucking sick.
What was that for, Val? Why? What's the what?
What?
It's an EU thing.
Oh, it's the EU thing.
We were talking about just before.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Living in a cave, you know, like all shamans.
Yep.
Take that for what you will.
Happy you missed we talked about Elemental Shaman already. Do you want to re-summarize thoughts on Elemental Shaman? Val apparently is playing it as his main ult. So go, Val, go.
Until I convince my GM tomorrow that I'm playing Demon Hunter.
Oh. You can't play a ranged main and a melee ult. That's not how it works. Ranged, baby. You stay in your role.
Whoa. No. Because then you can't stack a raid properly. What if you need like a full raid of range?
If you need 6 mages again.
Yeah. You want to have your melee on casters and your casters on melee. That's how you properly prepare for raids. Okay. Wolfest tactics here.
Are you behind the times, Val? Split raids are dead because all people are gonna do is just farm Mythic plus dungeons. Duh.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, warm up to your tanks,
for
guys.
Nightmare, they're gonna do that.
Warm up to
not
your
for night
tanks.
holds. Not for
Yeah,
night
dude,
holds.
you don't want to be on the outside. That's big. Like, if you guys are not tanks, be buddy, give them like flowers or something so you have a tank to run with once you hit 110. Because you're gonna be doing a lot of 5-mans, and you're gonna need a tank that's like somewhat competent to get you through it.
And remember,
really, like,
So
split raids aren't really that for the for Emerald Nightmare because you want to like split out the tiers again in Nighthold. So you need split raids for that.
Oh well, yeah, Nighthold split raids will be a lot more beneficial because all the gear from Nighthold is just step up above what you're gonna get in Keystones anyway. Because Emerald Nightmare is just there's no tier gear, it's just Highball gear, and there's no tier gear in the Stormheim raid either, which is just like there's no tier gear for so long. Which is just gonna feel really weird when a certain spec just like turns on with a 4-piece all of a sudden, and Nighthold just goes.
They did decrease the importance of most set bonuses.
Set bonuses, yeah.
True. Even though I would argue that the shadow bonuses are pretty insane.
Insane Shadow Priest. Interesting.
What are the shadow priest set bonuses here?
So your 2-piece makes your dots generate insanity and tick. So that's pretty good. The surrender as well, gonna make you stay longer in that. And your 4-piece, it's not that great for surrender because you're only gonna benefit from it once. But every time you enter void form, like I think it's for the first 6 seconds, your void bolt has no cooldown, so you just like machine gun void bolts.
Yeah, Shadow Word Pain and Vampiric Touch both generate 1 insanity each time they deal damage.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
That's pretty sick.
That
back to the good old times, early alpha. I think even in beta. When dots generated insanity, that was good.
I mean, that's going to be okay on a single target fight, but any fight you get 2 or 3 targets cross-dotted, with just rolling in like 6 extra insanity every couple of seconds all the time,
like,
dang.
Even just in single target, because like haste is like so good for surrender, especially surrender. So you're going to have dots taking so fast even on single target, so you're just going to bang in that insanity.
Bang in that insanity.
Bang it in, Val.
Bang it in. Right. That looks pretty good, yeah. But it's so far away to get tier sets. It's such a weird.
That's fine, honestly.
Yeah, it's fine, but
like, I don't know. Maybe it's just where I'm at with the school and stuff like that, where I'm just like, hey, if they want to take their time with content and give us some stuff to look forward to, I'm perfectly fine with that because past like 8-9 months of it, it's like nothing to do.
School in 2016.
Hey, man.
No, I'm just feeding into chat because I'm sure when I scroll down the chat, it's gonna be that's gonna happen. So,
I'm right.
Indeed. So there was another question that came up. So that was the elemental a little bit there. Let's see where it is. Oh gosh, did you answer? You didn't answer Monkey's question, did you?
About what I would farm for them?
No. What spec of priest would you recommend? Yeah, for farming consumables, so that the real healing specs will have some for raids.
I think it's hilarious that Monkey is talking trash about priests now. It just shows that he's scared.
Oh,
scared that they actually got good things, and then Monk just kind of got dunked on. You know, feels bad for him.
Feels poor Monkey-o.
That revival is so. Like,
it's going back to like Paleo. Nope.
Oh yeah, there were people asking about the difference in they removed Red Crane fist weaving directly, eminence healing from Mistweavers, but then they just basically gave a more complicated version to it to Dispriest. So
yeah, it's like the Dispriest flight, you know, or monk flight to Dispriests, you know. I've seen so many people who are just like, I'm going disc, you know.
They obviously both wanted to. Blizzard in general didn't like the just do damage and it just heals people because that's just dead entirely.
Yeah.
Right? That's dead, right? Old Batonement and Old Eminence are both gone. Obviously, there's still fist weaving for Mistweavers. You can still fist weave. There are still talents that help you out and do that. You get more Thunder Focus Teas, all that kind of good stuff, right? So don't think it's just dead, but Eminence is dead for sure.
But doesn't that just make it dead though? Because there's very little time that you're actually practically going to be using it in a raid environment, you know? So
well,
even if it's not good to use, then you don't use.
Mistweavers still found ways to game the whole T nonsense in the last expansion, so I'm sure they'll find ways to just, spam, because you get so many more. Is it Thunder Focus T is what the thing is? I believe that's the hook there with your 100 talent, I want to say.
Saul, I'm going to off-spec disc, and you better watch it, Almorn.
Yeah, Rising Thunder.
Better watch it.
Yeah, Rising Sun Kick will reset the remaining cooldown on Thunder Focus T. So, and what was this crap that I saw Monkey tweeting about having like a 2-minute long enveloping mist the other day because of the artifact? Like, really?
Show off.
Show off. Because that's balanced.
Brings back memories of Dark Animus progress. And 2-minute long dots. It's good. Good times.
Right. Yeah, it's... I don't know.
I mean, you do know nothing, Jon Snow.
Right. Exactly.
Precisely.
Oh, yeah, there's a question. Wait, yeah. What guild are you in right now, Val? I don't know if people heard you when you answered earlier. What guild?
Consequence and Northrissel EU.
Consequence. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Who finished pretty good in the expansion.
Pretty good, yes.
What the? Oh, stop channeling on yourself. Ah, Soothing Mist, please. I'm trying to make a cool little screenshot here of the Wandering Isle, and I keep Soothing Mist into my forehead. There we go. Let's see. What we got here? Oh, yeah, I know. High Mountain has the On Venus Feather version of Legion. Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just part of the quest line?
No.
I never got it.
You have to go out of your way to do it, and I wouldn't really suggest going for it.
How out of my way?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like...
Really bad?
It's in the lower left corner of High Mountain, and it's not really, like, just off the path, the regular questing path, so...
Okay.
I wouldn't go for it, and it doesn't really do that much for you. Like, doing the leveling, it's primarily in High Mountain.
The entire zone?
Well, you have to do, like, the entire path anyways.
Well, yeah, I'm saying, like, when I hit 110 and I go get it.
Oh, yeah. 110, it's fine, but, like, while leveling, no, don't go for it. Nope. Waste of time.
Question about, do you think the artifact quest lines being different for each class will slow down any race to be max level faster? I mean,
if you take the extra time to do it. Like, why would you have to, You get one, you get your artifact, and you hit the leveling hard, and you go to 110, and then you can fill in the blanks. If you're gonna do it one sitting, which I'm planning on doing. So, I'm not sure if I'm gonna go Disc or Holy for my first one. Depends on what I want to level with. I don't want to have all of my artifact power things in my bags and not cash them in until 110 or something. I mean, maybe I could because we have bag space now, but you just get one, and then you get the other. You do the other quests once you hit 110.
Okay.
If you're leveling in one sitting. If you're not, then it's, whichever.
Yeah, all the new sharding tech, of course, will help a lot for the launch of the expansions. That should be good. I keep seeing the question about competition for Serenity, but we already answered that. So I don't know if you just missed it or caught up. Let's see. I don't know. All the artifact quest lines aren't very different in time. I mean, you can go to my channel.
Yeah, they're pretty quick.
You can go to my channel guide. I have to post the last couple right after I'm done with the show today. I've done every single one of them. And the longer ones just normally mean that the bookend parts, like all the mage quests are kind of long because their bookends are kind of lengthy. Like once you get back to the Hall of Guardian, like it's a lot that happens there every single time you finish up the quest, and you don't. Those are unrealistic. Like they're all about 40 minutes long, I would say.
Wait, quest lines?
Oh, that's rude as fuck.
I don't think they're that long.
They definitely are. I mean, you can look at them right here. I mean, while Blood DK is like the shortest one I think I've ever done. It's like barely over 30 minutes long. It's like if you don't factor in
like 15, 20 for Holy Priests.
Holy Priest for me was 44 minutes. But again, that's
how many times did you wipe?
No, that's the bookend. My artifact quests are the entire thing, start to finish. The finishing meaning when you get the scouting map and you can pick your first quest and then you can go. So I mean, it's shorter than that. you can definitely shave off like 15 minutes of sure.
Okay.
Discipline was over an hour because so much RP.
You just get the RP.
Well, I'm not skipping the RP if I'm showing off the whole quest, you dork. So, yeah, I think
Come on.
Blood DK is easily the
Time to go.
shortest. 33 minutes. So short.
Mhm.
But yeah, all the mage quests are all really close. Both Alunath and Ebonchill are over an hour. Fellow Malorn is 50 minutes. Again, this is based on my timings, which is the whole thing. So you can see them all on my channel guide. They don't take very long overall. Yeah. Are you allowed to talk about, well, Hunter questions? I mean, I can ask Val a Hunter question. What do you think of the Marksman Hunter Tier 19 set bonuses? An odd focus on True Shot aura. What do they do?
Oh, I haven't looked at the hunter bonuses at all. But if you have them, I can comment on them.
Well, what? So Hunter, Marksmanship. So every 20 focus you spend reduces the cooldown of True Shot by 1 second. And True Shot also reduces the cost of all your focus spenders by 50%. So spend focus, lower the cooldown on True Shot, use True Shot, focus spenders are cheaper.
Sounds pretty good for bursting.
It's just more, yeah, it almost turns True Shot sort of into Bestial Wrath because of the reset mechanic on Bestial Wrath. You get that for True Shot then.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just shrugging like, that doesn't sound terrible. Okay. Remember.
No, but again, like they said, and they have done that, like set bonuses are not that impactful and game-changing anymore.
Sure. They're kind of like
It's not like
supplementary.
HFC set bonuses where they are either made you amazing or they just had like no effect.
Sure, exactly.
You know, Holy
Oh.
Priests, no set bonuses.
Monkey
HFC.
came out here on my stream and he's on Alliance character, so I just didn't see what he said. He said, Nothveld Rufftoss Ku Uden Farveld Koen Uden. Probably making fun of Jak, I imagine. That's fine.
What?
Exactly. Exactly.
You hear that? What, saying corn in insanity form says Nazoth?
Yeah.
Did you
Also
know?
banana. Also
And banana. And banana.
Also banana.
Yep.
Yeah, tier sets have 6 pieces, which gives you more room to mix and match. Obviously, the set bonuses are only 2 and 4. But yeah, tier sets are 6 pieces, and the Class Hall tier set, if you want to call it that, is 8 pieces. They have a 2, 4, 6, and 8 bonus. Mm-hmm. Yep. But remember, there's also... What is it? There's also this... So, obviously, you have your legendaries, and your item sets, you have this... I don't know where these are from. Are these all Suramar? Like the March of the Legion, Journey Through Time, and Jansen's Ruse? Like these 2-piece sets?
Oh,
Like-
those ones?
Those
Is
like
that-
for like Quarter Stars and
Yeah.
Arcway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Those like the special things.
Yeah.
So you just gotta be grinding them. What, it's after the second week is when the Mythic Dungeons come out, and then you can do Arcway and
You know,
Well, no,
Mythics are like the first week.
Mythic Dungeons will be open on
Oh,
launch
that's right.
day,
Yeah.
but
You
only,
can only
after the
yeah.
dungeon reset.
Yeah.
So which is like, it'll be like noon Eastern or something, 9 a.m. Eastern, something like that. So you can't get double lockouts on regular Mythic Dungeons. But Mythic Plus doesn't
Okay.
actually open until raids open on the 20th.
Watch somebody find a way to get to 110 in like 4 hours instead of what the 8 or 9 that people are talking about it being.
Brutal has been doing leveling
Yeah. I
over
heard
and over
about
and
it.
over again, and he can't get under 7 hours. So, yeah, I really doubt that he'll be.
Hey man, nobody
be
knew
much
about
faster.
the crab.
What crab?
All right.
What
Remember
crab?
in Mop, I think it was, where there was the crab that you just killed repeatedly and it gave you a fuck ton of XP.
Well, they've nerfed a lot of those areas, I hope.
Well, yeah. But like, if they don't know about it, you know.
Right.
Like the problem with that, the chest in Val Shara, I think it was,
Mhm.
where you could just keep on opening it over and over again to get unlimited AP, was
Right.
that people talked about it, you know.
Well, that
Storm.
kind of stuff can't go live. So,
Sure, exactly. But you
Right.
know, crab shouldn't have gone live either. Yeah, why did they cremate Vol'jin? Real talk. There's some problems with that.
wow.
Why? It's how you honor your dead. It's a-
Not for the trolls.
Well, how do you know? Did you write the troll law?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, great.
So it like cuts them off from the lowest spirits. Okay, it's bad. Like we're doing it anyways. Like all the trolls are like just okay with it.
Remember, this is an open Q&A show, so if you actually have questions that aren't troll questions, you can please feel free. We'll.
Why are all priests so skinny?
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Nah, I'm reading questions from chat. You know.
Fair enough.
I take
actually,
this compliment. I will be a happy string bean. You know.
It's a matter of choice, really. Because I was quite big early on, some years ago. So it's a matter of what you decide to do.
I see people asking, well, Rangers asking how to make gold in Legion. I don't know.
How to range goal? Score a goal?
No, how to get gold. How to make gold.
Oh,
GOLD. Well, the best way to make gold at the beginning of expansion is to have gathering professions, gather ore, skins, herbs, disenchanting mats, and sell them. Always. The first, like...
Roll the dice and hope for the 875. Is it BOEs? I think that's the leader of them.
From the world quests?
The BOEs, yeah, the world BOE ones.
Yeah.
That sell for like 400, 500k.
No, the top guilds will buy those. Yeah, exactly.
I know,
Yep.
exactly.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
They're not,
Of course
Jason,
we will.
please. They are not.
Let's see.
I don't think, I mean, progressively, I think somebody was asking about having alt-friendly expansion. I don't think it's going to be really that alt-friendly. But maybe
really,
the way
no.
that they're scaling artifact power will be better, but I don't know. Like, they've progressively gotten less and less alt-friendly.
Can you do profession quests before doing artifact? No.
No, artifact is like the first thing you're gonna do.
Yeah,
yeah,
the first thing you get thrown into doing.
Yeah, if you want to watch any of my artifact videos, again, go to my channel guide. Those all start like literally right after we port. The first thing we're gonna do on 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Eastern for me on launch day is you go to Dalaran, you port Dalaran to Broken Isles, and you start your artifact quest, which is like class hall / artifact quest unlocking. And you can't even go to the Broken Isles until you have one artifact. You can't. Now, you can do profession stuff after that, and there are definitely some great profession quests to do while you're leveling, depending on your leveling path, because people have been talking about how, like, you gotta make sure it's, like, super, like, streamlined. Make sure you pick the zone that you're gonna go to do profession quests in, but, like, meh. Like, I don't...
Yeah.
But, yeah, when you go back to your class hall, you go back to Dalaran, you go check your profession guy, lady, and you're in Dalaran, there could be quests to do while you're leveling that could be in the zones you're going to, or could be in the zones you're going to next, or could be in the zone you've already finished. So, yeah, you can do them while you're leveling, but you cannot do anything before you get one artifact. It's impossible. You can't go to the Broken Isles. How long, for the average player, starting at 736 gear level, should it take to level, assuming servers aren't on fire? You didn't put what kind of class you're playing, Matthew, so we're going to assume you're playing DPS.
If you plan in advance, 8 to 9 hours, something like that.
Yeah.
But if you're not, like, if you're just wandering around, choose whatever you want, 10, 11-ish.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I would say, like, between 8 and 10 if you're going, you know, pretty quick. Under 8 if you're going super fast and you have your wrap planned. And if you're smelling the roses, 12 hours. Yeah.
Yep. I think Marksman's better than BM Hunter. I have no idea.
It really depends on what you do, because from what I've seen, BM is like by far the best in Mythic Plus dungeons.
True, like the cleave stuff, right?
Well, I've been told that's the reverse. I was told that Marksman has better AoE than BM. BM is better for single target bursts, and Marksman's better for AoE. Which I don't play. I only play Survival Hunter. I leveled Tinkery through invasions as BM to tank elites to scumbag XP, but I did not. I don't know how to play a ranged class really. I think so. I don't know. That's what I thought. I thought BM. I thought BM was better for.
I'm pretty sure
AoE.
BM is go spec for the AoE and Mythic Plus. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Gotcha.
I mean, we'll see how things work out for that. Yeah, sure. Do we
Yeah, at least you're pushed into playing different things, you know.
Sure. I mean, if
Instead
you're
of one
playing
size fits all.
if you're playing Hunter, most likely you're going to be playing BM and Marksman. I don't know, depending on your guild. If you're not like going for super crazy high-end world first, you're just like a heroic normal raider, you can play survival just fine. It totally okay. You don't have a restriction on classes in a 30-man roster because you can put 30 people in a normal heroic raids. So, but
Yep.
it'll be funny to see which top echelon guilds run survival hunters. It'll be interesting to see for sure.
I don't know how much that's actually going to happen unless
If
they're like
any
crazy
do.
OP.
Sure, that's
But
what.
there's
Yeah,
so many melee now.
right.
So many.
And what's the stat in the entire longevity of Blizzard and all of World of Warcraft expansions? We are at a net -1 ranged class.
Yeah.
Period. They've never added a new healer. They've never added a new ranged class ever. Yet. They need to. They need something.
Oh, I'm good with what we're at right now. Like,
Yeah,
we shouldn't play too much. Like, we consistently, like on a consistently basis, getting new things to play with in raids and such. And like, it's okay, but like at some point they need to stop it because like there'll be so many things to balance and stuff. So,
That's true. They added monks. Yeah. Well, you said -1 ranged.
-1 ranged, yeah, because
Yeah.
they took away Survival Hunter and added Havoc.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So they haven't added a range.
Well, I guess what people are talking about is ranged DPS or just ranged in general.
Sure.
Because they're bringing up monks.
Well, yeah, because they
So-
brought in Mistweaver, but then they took away Survival Hunters, so you lost, technically lost a ranged class, I guess. Yeah. But I was thinking about ranged DPS in that regard. Unless
Gotta be
you're
specific. Chat's gonna skewer you.
a Mistweaver monk that just spams Crackling Jade Lightning.
Dude, I want to be a Sith Lord. Who doesn't?
a green Sith Lord.
A green Sith Lord. Mm-hmm.
Hey, they never explained. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they did. Of like why they always have to have red lightsabers, and then all the good guys get like the multicolored lightsabers. Who knows?
Baby
I actually
Spank.
really want to know.
Baby Spanker was asking Jak to comment on the best pre-spec for getting into high Mythic Plus levels. Probably Holy, though, right?
Yeah, holy. Yeah. Just generally, it's a lot more consistent. You have a lot more like emergency, oh shit, big bursts of healing.
Right.
And I mean, oh shit button versus is push one button, top people off, or get people out of danger zones quickly. Whereas Disc has burst in that you have to set up and plan in advance to burst heal, things like that. So.
Right.
Yeah, if you really want to do if you're a priest and you really want to do Mythic Plus competitively, you definitely want to be doing some holy stuffs. So, although personally I like Disc better for 5-mans, I think it's more interesting in a lot of ways. I mean, it's probably going to change greatly when you get into really hard Mythic Pluses, and the high level Mythic Plus stuff gives you amazing rewards. So, yeah. I'm in, Benny was asking what guild I'm in. I'm in Incarnate on Ner'zhul in US.
What do you think about what they did to Brewmasters? Well, from a healing point of view, have you healed a Brewmaster monk, Jak? How do they feel?
Yeah, I think they did with Reckoning, actually. They got ripped to shreds, although most of our tanks got ripped to shreds when we were doing Tichondrius testing
Right.
a couple weeks back. But overall, I think they're okay. I don't think that they were any better than... I think the most stable healer I've had, I mean, again, this is anecdotal because I'm not healing with every single healer that's on raid testing, but I think the most stable has been Druids so far. Druids, Warriors is pretty good. I haven't healed a lot of blood DKs, but I think a lot of it is going to be on the player. Because you could tell when you're healing a tank and they just have no idea why they died, or there's a difference between them saying, "Oh, I'm probably going to die here." 4 seconds later, they die. So it's a lot on the player, and you really know it when they're like, "I have no idea how I died," and it's like, well, yeah.
And then I have a question for Val from Ampty. What do you guys think about Affliction Warlocks, and what could they do to make them There's that trigger word again, viable. Have you touched much Affliction Warlock stuff, Val? I thought they were really boring, but they didn't look bad.
Bad. Like, I don't really like how they play currently, especially with the very short, unstable Affliction and it costing a soul shot. Like, I would be okay with it costing a soul shot if it was a longer duration, but it's super short. And I kind of like that they gave them back Siphon Life, like from a law thing. But overall, it feels kind of like the same, but just a bit worse because you have this like super short, unstable Affliction. But yeah.
Oh, when you're talking about tanks again, I just kind of wanted to separate the two. When you're doing Mythic Plus versus doing, or just 5-mans in general, versus doing raids, like the group stuns that people can have, or the kiting that they can have, all that stuff is hugely different, you know? Other group stuns can kind of be really scary sometimes. If you don't kill everything and then the swing timer resets and it just one-shots your tank, and it's like, not that great. But other times it's great.
There's a follow-up then for you on that one. What do you think about every healer but restoration shamans and I guess sort of Mistweaver monks losing interrupts?
I mean,
because Resto
Holy
still
didn't have
has
an interrupt.
Right.
Because
Resto still has Wind Shear and Windwalker monks can still talent into leg sweep. But
honestly, I think that's fine. You know, I mean,
dude, Paladins still have their stun though, HOJ. So maybe it's not.
Yeah, and you talent into a stun with Dis, or sorry, you talent into a stun with Holy rather, and Dis have like the knockbacks and stuff like that.
Yeah, you take the
I think, you know,
the single target. It's your DPS Holy Word, whatever it's called, right?
Yeah, Chastise.
There you go. Because normally it's a disorient, but if you talent into it, it becomes a stun, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a really nice stun. It's a super, super nice stun. What's in the box? Nothing's in the box right now.
Jak is moving. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, can you knock it under 9 hours? I don't know. Apparently Fragnance, I would assume, did it in 6:33 with, okay.
What, leveling 100 to 110?
Yeah. Kib said he did it in 6 hours. Yeah, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Here's another question for... Oh, wow. Okay. Val, what are your opinion on balance druids in a stands for progression rating? I think new balance is awesome, so I'll let you discuss this, but...
The progression?
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. It's good. Like...
Val's message, guys, all throughout this. The sky is not falling. The sky is not falling. Don't fret.
I will not fall. I will not crumble. You can play anything you want to play.
As long as you believe in the spirit of Harambe.
No, please. You're going to get chat going off the Harambe meme now. Damn it, Jak.
But really, unless you're in the top 1 to 5, it doesn't matter what you play. Like, just get this min-maxing sick idea out of your head. It doesn't matter what you play. As long as you play what you think is fun and you enjoy it. And you're not completely potato at it. You're going to do fine.
No.
It was one of my guildies
Danish
asking
potato.
the question. So I think the real question was like, is there a stipulation on balance? Because I know that they're a lot better with the scythe, but right now they're crap. So do you feel they're going to be...
It's that way for so many classes, you know?
You can't compare what you're experiencing in Warlords compared to what you're going to experience in Legion.
Well, do you think that the whole mechanic of... Because I think the only thing that I really found that balance does well is like cross cleave and constant AoE, which isn't really a big thing in World of Warcraft, unless you take Fury of Elune. It's like the best burst AoE in the game. But your tanks have to like cluster bufu all the mobs together, and then you can, purify or beam them to death. But if that's like their only way that they're really viable, then or like really stand outish in a raid setting, like this could be like a regular DPS cast that just kind of does like middle of the road.
Yeah, so they have an issue like every other caster has.
Unless you're Demonology. Demonology.
What, they do
everything. Well, they can't turn into a demon anymore.
Oh, wow.
Rip.
You had to bring that up, didn't you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just gotta add salt to the wound.
Yeah. Well, I think that the Demonology implosion nonsense will probably not it can't stay as the only way to play Demonology. The whole, like, blowing up your imps as the other imps fall down to buff your new imps, like, rotational nonsense. That just feels
Sounds
too...
like fun.
Too gamey. Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea. We'll have to see. But...
The thing with min-max, though, is that, like, min-max trickles down, you know?
That's true.
Balance trickles down as, like, what everybody sees from top guilds is what everyone wants to copy, you know? So it's hard to present, like, oh, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm playing, and stuff like that, but then also tell people, like, you can play what you want, you just have to be good at it, you know? So.
You can compare what you see in the world first videos and then like apply the same numbers and like logic to what you're doing. Like
you gotta wait for the director's cut with commentary, and then you know.
What the?
Yeah.
No, but really, if you consider
is that my
like,
interview
if
show
you're
then?
facts,
I'm telling you, that's what
Serenity
Serenity
kills
should
a
do.
boss.
Director's cut, DVD, Blu-ray. Yeah.
But what, Val?
when Serenity kills a boss, yeah,
Mhm.
you have to consider they're probably 5 to 10 eye levels average lower than you'll be when you kill the boss. So obviously that will have a great impact on how classes stack up against each other in different scenarios, as well as they might not have some trinkets you will have at that point. There's some other set pieces, so you can't really just like take what you see in the first kill video and then like expect to do the same. Like it's two
Not carbon copy.
very, very different contexts. Like so don't.
Yep.
Unless they're outliers on an encounter like Blackhand, where you need multiple boomkins, a brewmaster monk to face tank the tank, and 3 hunters for phase 1. Like,
Yeah,
obviously
but-
that kind of garbage, but I don't think is that...
You don't need that. You might need it for the world first kill, but you don't need it. The boss is not designed around having that specific comp. That is the comp you need to push it at that low eye level.
They definitely made phase 1...
That is the min-max comp.
Phase 1 Blackhand was definitely made for Aspect of the Pack. Rest in peace, Aspect of the Pack. But
Dude, I loved being able to butt slide with Aspect of the Pack.
excuse me?
You would, yeah. You don't know about the butt slide? So you know, if you're like when you fall to the final level, you're usually pretty low on mana. So what you'll do is you'll pack once you hit the ground, and then I'll mana pot, and I'll just slide my butt across the ground as I'm channeling my mana pot, and you're moving with it. It's great. It was great. Just butt slide.
I hope you heard that exhale. What is Val maining in Legion?
Fox, yeah, it was Fox, yeah.
Oh,
Priest,
Fox.
Shadow
Oh,
Priest.
Fox.
Yeah, my bad.
Always.
You just
Always
like
and
yell,
forever.
Fox. Just butt slides.
Fox and butt slides. And what are you maining, Val? Again, sorry?
Shadow. Always and forever.
Always and forever.
Which explains his current predicament.
What's his predicament?
I mean, surviving the horror of the last 2 expansions.
Or
I guess last 1 expansion.
Well, yeah.
No.
Do you have a moment to? You want to like expound upon the greatness that is removing shadow orbs from the Shadow Priest, Val? How good of a change was that?
Best? Actually, that depends like what kind of shadow orbs you're referring to. But because the most recent ones were like terrible, but like the shadow orbs we had back in, what was it, Cataclysm was kind of okay. That mechanic was kind of okay.
That's like
Then
9
when you
years
had it,
ago.
like-
Who cares about Cataclysm? Pfft.
Hey man,
What?
that's people's lives.
Do you
That's-
miss having like 9 different heals that all the same thing in Cataclysm, Jack?
No.
God, what kind of
Not a
healing
bit.
model was that?
If I remember right, we actually had good set bonuses though. It was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
Not like all of WoD, where Holy Priest had like really meh, not game changing at all set bonuses that just did nothing. Somebody was asking about neck enchants. I mean, it's going to depend on what your primary stats are, Bird. So if you're playing a Holy Priest, you're going to want to have the Mastery enchant. If you're playing Disc, you'll have the Crit Haste one.
Yeah, it's weird that they nerfed those because they were neat when they were like procs, but I guess they don't really make any sense if they're just arbitrary damage anyway. So now they're just like flat. Just they're like a trinket proc on your necklace. It's just flat stats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blurp. And then how about? I mean, I guess how do the tanks compare against each other as of the last raid test? Well, it's hard to answer now because they've nerfed and buffed different ones in the past couple
Yeah,
of weeks.
that's what I was kind of worried about. And we haven't seen them with set bonuses, and we haven't seen them. Well, I don't think we ever.
Set bonus is not really going to be a thing until like Nighthold, so.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. We haven't seen them with legendaries. I think one tank had a legendary. I don't even know if it was that good or not when I did testing. So, if the legendary, like I haven't even looked at the tank legendaries because it's not really my spiel, but if those actually make a big impact enough so that's like somebody is significantly better because they just have a legendary, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Jack, what do you think of... Oh, go ahead.
Go for it, go.
I'll say, what do you think... I'm just sitting here on my Discipline Priest Nidalee Temple. What do you think of Purge the Wicked for 100 talents? Is it like... It's
really good.
Set and forget, or...
It's a great name.
Most of the time, yeah. I mean, like, Grace is good if you need the extra healing in 5-ends and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going for, like, the max deeps, Purge the Wicked's the way to go. Like, the thing with Shadow Covenant is that it's still kind of being figured out because... So Shadow Covenant, we're going to say for example's sake, it heals every player for 100. And then it puts a shell on them that absorbs the next 50 healing that each person receives. The numbers are much higher, but it's half of it.
Sure.
That shell lasts 6 seconds, and the problem comes with knowing how impactful is that shell. Like, are you hurting other healers because you're forcing them to heal through that stuff after you cast a Shadow Covenant? Are you in a spot where the healing is, or the absorbed part is just falling off? You know, in a lot of cases, you're just making more healing to be done. So it's kind of just a weird talent, and the fact that it replaces Powered Radiance and that Shadow Covenant doesn't apply Atonement. No, sorry. Yeah, I said that right? Shadow Covenant replaces Powered Radiance, and then Shadow Covenant does not apply Atonement. So it's kind of a pain in the ass.
Because it's more healing than Radiance.
It's more, yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's more target
healing.
Stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of an issue there, and it also kind of goes against your style of dealing damage to heal. So, yeah. Purge the Wicked's pretty straightforward, set and forget. It's nice to dot up a lot of other targets. It's very flexible. I like it. And I like it. You know, it's nice.
Waspire asks, are you going to put up a how to get the 3rd artifact slot video? You mean the relic slot? That is just from completing your class campaign.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Straightforward. Those class campaigns are fun, by the way. I really like those class campaigns.
I have not done any of them. I haven't done any of them yet.
Really good.
Yeah.
And there's crazy stuff that happens with them. Like it's nice because it's not like you have to read the quest to get the lore. It's like little tiny cutscenes everywhere.
So this question has been posted a lot.
Yeah, take it.
What do you think about mage specs in Legion? Do you think Frost is ever going to be competitive with Fire? So I think Fire is like super fun in Legion. If it Frost, like minor cosmetic things, like I really like the Ray of Frost they like brought in from Diablo, but that's just a niche thing. Arcane is too similar to what it was in Warlords, I think. It's not really a fan of it. Like really like Fire though. But if it's gonna be competitive, I don't know. Like Fire just seems really good at the moment. Oh, they nerfed it recently.
A little bit, yeah.
Like the high end scaling, they nerfed it. It's gonna be like still the same at a low eye level, but like up high with a lot of secondary stats, it's gonna be a bit weaker. So yeah, Fire's probably gonna be the thing.
What's weird about the mage specs that I've seen anyway is that, like, they each have their own little, like, niche, right? It still seems like Arcane has some AoE and has some cleave, but Arcane is like the machine gun spec. You're gonna tunnel one individual thing, like your priority target, #1 DPS thing. Your AoE is whatever. You can spam Arcane Explosion, and then you can barrage to cleave, but like it's like okay. Whereas Frost has, I want to say, better mobility than Fire, but Fire now has so many damn instant spells that, like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You're always firing off a Phoenix Flame.
You still have Scorch, which you can cast once.
Exactly, sure. So it's weird to determine them now. I mean, obviously, Fire has, like, very little CC in comparison to Frost has more CC, has more control. So, Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Fire looks really good. I mean, this is probably one of the best iterations of Fire that we've ever seen, depending on what your view is of how Fire mages work. I think it's a lot of fun. It's a lot better than what it used to
some
be.
like mechanical stuff about heating up and hot streak. I'm not super fan of, but yeah, you can like the bang.
Just wait till they change it again a couple weeks in.
Yeah,
They do. They seem to do every expansion.
That's what Joe also said. They nerfed it but buffed the legendary, and yeah, like you might say that, but like you can't just depend on one legendary for your spec to be viable.
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm. Although there's a lot of duds for Holy Priest and Disc Priest. There are a lot of duds in the legendary department and in the artifacts.
I was looking at the healing artifacts for Priest, and like I feel so sorry for you guys. Like Shadow has like what 4 great ones, and you have like I was looking at them. I was just feeling sad.
Jak, you have improved death. Don't you even give me that nonsense.
What are you talking about? It's like what extra 8 seconds, 9 seconds.
After Spirit of Redemption.
22 seconds.
After Spirit of Redemption expires, you will be revived with 100% health based on your effectiveness during Spirit of Redemption. After reviving, you cannot benefit. You have improved death. You have basically Holy Priest Ankh, okay?
You know what that's going to be used for? You know what that's going to be used for?
A raid cooldown.
That's going to be used for mass resing the raid after a wipe, okay? That's going to be used.
No.
Not to say that it's crap, but the one-shot mechanics are less prominent in most of the raid fights and stuff like that, and by sitting in fire, you know, and be like, everybody don't heal me, they're gonna heal you anyway. 9 times out of 10. At least
go for the locks.
My healers don't listen. I don't know, but other times, you know, you don't have like a taunt to taunt the boss and get one shot. You don't have any of this other stuff. It's just not that great, and it causes really degenerate gameplay in order to proc it properly. So it's okay, you know, but if there was a button where you activated it, fantastic. Actually, you have that button in the PvP talents. A little jealous, but yeah.
I feel it's kind of bad, really, because if you want to play around getting Spirit of Redemption at some point in the fight to like get a mana return, and you play with Afterlife, you're not gonna get that secondary like Spirit of Redemption later on when you die.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's the whole idea, though.
You lose out a lot. In my opinion.
Yeah, it's okay. It's whatever. Not a huge it's not going to be a big innate benefit on every single encounter, and that's kind of the biggest problem. You know,
I'd say you're pretty much going to use it like for the stats if it's the only legendary you have.
Oh, absolutely! Like all the legendaries have good stats.
Sure,
you know? They're all 895s.
Right.
So, but the fact that there's not an on use for it is just kind of a big problem. So, unfortunately, like I said, more often than not, if you get this, you're gonna just find yourself battle resing the raid after every, mass resing the raid after every fight. Probably where it's gonna go.
I mean, I'm giving you crap for it, but it is another Ankh,
everyone's giving me crap for it. People are giving me crap for saying that Holy Priest is gonna be using a lot more AOE spells, and you're gonna be wanting to have a lot more mana trinkets and stuff. And everyone's like, no, you're gonna go single target. Like people are talking crap about me now, but just wait like a month.
Depends on the fight, yeah. But
we'll talk again about this in a month.
I'm sure we will.
That's like the cop-out. No, it's like the cop-out when everyone's like, oh, it depends on the fight. Depends on, like, it's just like I don't have an argument, but it's, maybe, you know.
I mean, Holy Priests do have a lot of AoE heals, but they also can talent to very single target or very AoE. They're very...
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But
they have all the band-aids.
The preferred top HPS is going to be the AoE stuff. Like, if you don't have a paladin... Yeah, top HPSs. If you don't have a paladin, then you'll probably be pushed more into doing single target healing, but you probably don't really want to. You know. I got crap for that.
Saza asked, "How does enhancement work in raids? Does the lack of self healing, piss weak heal doesn't count? Hurt? Did you die a bunch? I mean, not really. I mean, technically, once you get your artifact powered up and stuff like that, and when you're using Healing Surge with Maelstrom to heal yourself when you're like running around or something like that, it's actually just fine. We did lose Shamanistic Rage for another actual cooldown. We lost healing on Spirit Wolves. So I mean, if you're scared of that, you can always go Draenei and have another heal. But honestly, the healing meta in Legion is so team oriented more so than it ever been before that healers have, unless Jak wants to refute this, you have like almost a lot of time to respond to damage. But damage is always very consistent.
Yeah, it's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
It's great on one of my favorite fights with Cenarius when we just said screw it. We just started DPSing the boss with the thorns on it. So the ramp up of damage going out on the raid was like ridiculous. But in general, you have time to prepare. You know, there is a lot more steady damage of downtime. Like your downtime is just steady. You know, easy damage to deal with. And some fights have like big bursts. Like I really like Tichondrius damage where there is just a huge burst and you have plenty of time to prepare for it and stuff. So
that's a big question from Aro. So with some mythic dungeon and a little raiding testing done myself, I feel that melee are just going to be completely out of raiding teams unless you have something very specific to offer a group like Rogue's Cloak, DK Grip. Well, no, that's wrong. Only blood. Well, I guess single target grip
DK,
maybe.
DK
but
do
like,
have grip. Like,
but what?
Funhole actually has 2 grips. Like one for himself, one for the pet.
No fight I've ever seen needs grip. That's what I mean. Like no fight uses grip.
Well,
yeah.
So, I mean, I could go through all these fights right now. This is a weird, like the whole argument about if you don't bring utility now, are you basically just sat? I mean, Nathendra has no really need for outside utility. Il'gynoth, you can't grip anything, and you don't need to soak anything, so cloak doesn't work. So you don't.
That's the problem. Again, going back to the artifact traits, that's the problem with having any kind of variance with the Holy Priest's talent or trait structure is that to go through the left side, and you can even pull it up with your artifact right now, to go through the left path,
on
you have
discipline?
to go through on Holy. On left side to go through and get to like your active ability, which is Light of Ture, which is super awesome. You have to go through this leap of faith, which is just horrible, where it puts hot on your leap of faith. So
I
feels bad.
I saw your artifact path little put up there, and I guess it's weird for every, because you're basically planning on getting 2 golden dragons before raids come out after 3 weeks, which is totally like everyone's gonna do anyway. But
Yeah, it's like two or three. Yeah.
What do you mean? 2 or 3 what?
Golds.
Well, you can't get 3 gold. 3 gold takes like 100 days. Raids are out in 20. So
No, well, I'm talking about
That's
your
how much
first
you
one.
farm.
You have your first gold. Or are you just talking about the dragons?
yeah, well, yeah, because I saw you're going for, because I thought normally you want to go for whatever a good powerful golden dragon is right off the bat, because normally they're about 4 perks away. But your path was like Follower of the Light, and then Holy Hands, and then Reverence, and then Holy Words of Healing, and then Renew the Faith, and then Hollow Ground, all the way back around. You just skip Trust in the Light. You're just going.
Yeah, because the first 13 artifact traits that you put in cost as much as the 14th.
Sure, right, of course.
So the fact that you're putting in one of your cheapest artifact traits, your cheapest 3 of 3s into a dead trait,
okay.
because that's what it is. It's a dead trait. Is just really bad, you know.
Okay.
So you're better off going all the way around.
Now we had talked
and it
about
benefits more of an AOE style than a single player style.
I brought up Trust in the Light before with some like shenanigans about like standing on your tank and gripping them just to give them a 15% max health heal, which a 15% max health heal when a tank has 4 million HP is still a lot for global. Right?
It's a lot, but how many tanks are willingly going to be getting life gripped on cooldown for 15% of their max?
Well, no, but you'd have to. The Holy Priest has to like go over to that.
Yeah,
tank
you have to stand directly in front of the tank,
grip them
and then they'll move like almost nowhere, and then you got to make sure that they know, and yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so gamey. It's a PvP trait.
Yeah, it's PvP trait. I mean, you could probably get some decent use out of it in 5-mans if you need to like kite or something like that.
Right.
You know. You need just to heal them a lot, and you don't have a good global to do anything. But, you know, it could be pretty good.
I guess.
But
I'll throw it over to Val then. Do you feel that there are certain specs or classes in the game that bring something that you're going to need to have in a raid in Legion? Because obviously raid buffs are gone, right? Ret Paladins bring 3 blessings, and that's it. Enhancement Shamans bring Stormlash, but that's again Ret Paladins, Blessing of Might. For damage is equated to the paladin themselves, not to the players that they bless. And same thing with Stormstrike. Stormstrike is equivalent. It's given to the shaman, so you're not actually giving the raid more damage technically. So I don't think there's anything really outlying. Do you think, Val?
Like, as a general thing, I'd say Blood DKs and Vengeance Demon Hunters, because they do have the mass grip, and it gives some control on ads whenever it's applicable. But that's about it. Like, well, Cloak has some uses as well as Cheat Death, but yeah. Like, there are some that you'll bring just because, yeah, they just have the utility.
Speaking
like,
of you being
in a world-first environment, of course. Like,
right.
Seeing that you're in the Paladin class hall, I'm a little burned that the Paladin class hall actually has a legitimate church, and the Priest class hall does not. Like, there's pews, there's an altar, there's all of that, and then like the Priest one is like the hippie city, where there's like no furniture whatsoever. Everyone's just kind of walking around, like sitting on the floor. It's a little weird. It's just me though. Okay, you have an altar, and you have statues of like fallen heroes. It's like amazing.
Well, I'm not gonna walk over there because I'm trying not to. I mean, I'm showing off some stuff that's spoilery, but I'm not gonna show off stuff that is like, yo, this is a spoiler. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, but, like everyone knows like the old fallen paladins and stuff. So,
right.
Yeah, I feel you.
When should I start working on alts? Well, a first tip is on launch, make sure you, before you start leveling your main, log on to your alts, just so they like log into the new game, and make sure they're getting rested XP, and then log off any of them. If you don't actually log them on, I'm pretty sure they don't get rested XP because they're not actually quoted as, they're not updated onto the new build. Their XP bar will still be locked. So log on your alts, let them start getting rested, right? And then go back on and level your main. But when do you start working on alts? I mean,
immediately. All of them.
Whenever you feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I mean, my plan
go ahead.
is it's going to be 3 a.m. Eastern time for when I start. So go hard, level my character, or level my priest. Hold off on doing any of the other artifact quest lines until I get 110. Like, it'll be like noon-ish, eat food, decide if I want to sleep or not, and then probably sleep, then play from like 6 to midnight-ish, and then sleep. Something like that.
Something like that.
And after I hit 110, just run through a couple of the daily dungeons, some of the daily stuff to get and make sure I have all the reps rolling, and then probably put some more time into my paladin because we have to have our alts ready. And the fact that the artifact knowledge that you get that increases the rate at which you gain artifact power is like super important. If you're getting that started on your first character on day 1, it's a huge deal. It's super awesome. And also getting it ready for your alts is also super big. So yeah, that's my plan. Maybe we'll sleep. We'll see.
I posted a screenshot of my week 1 launch schedule. I had everything timed out already. Yeah, man. It's crazy. It'll be posted in my new channel guide as well. And people have been asking for a while about where people from the stream keep like standing in front of me. These paladins. It's weird. It's creepy.
Yeah.
They're staring at me. The new FinalBossTV like front page landing page for the channel guide will be updated with all of a ton of new stuff. It'll have links to 16 relevant discords, the tanking chat, and the general healer chat, as well as all of the actual spec discords or class discords, and of course the open chat for FinalBossTV. That'll be live probably tomorrow into Monday. So if you're looking to find all these resources to connect with all these different class discords, then you can please just wait a little bit, and I'll have them all in one place for you. You can join all the class discords because they all have so many different resource tabs and guides and Google documents and and people you can ask questions all the time. So that's the best way to go because not every class or spec has like a website or a blog or something like that, or a YouTuber or a streamer, but every class has a Discord. So I'll have links for all of those for you in the next day and a half. You can join all of them. So, and then you can just keep up with all the changes because they'll be posting things, iterations, best in slot lists, all the stuff that you might want to just digest and take in. So that'll all be up for you in the next day and a half. So hold tight on that one. And then Big Bad Mage said, why do you think that most caster specs feel like garbage in most AoE situations compared to melee? I wouldn't think so. Certain casters have insane AoE. Elemental Shamans, ridiculous AoE. I brought up Demonology Wars before. They have really good AoE.
Mages.
Fire mages.
Arcane mages, if they stand in melee.
Well, arcane mages only after they get the perk that makes their arcane barrage like explode. So then all you do is stand in melee and you just arcane explode 4 times, barrage, explode 4 times, barrage.
And then you get a ranged mechanic on you and blow up the melee.
Exactly. Right. So, well, Blizzard said this at Gamescom. They said that they kind of have, not exactly, but in a way, melee are better for Mythic Plus dungeons and casters are better for raids, which isn't exactly true, but it's also not true. And that's mostly because a lot of more mechanics are like ranged oriented in raids, but then melee have so much more like cleave or AoE or just control that range don't have, and they're easier to just mow through Mythic Plus. So,
yeah, I was seeing that people were talking about. I'm not sure if the devs even said it. That
right.
melee are going to be really desirable in Mythic Plus.
Yep.
So.
But I don't think you'd run like tank 3 melee in Mythic Plus. You'd run probably tank it.
There's
2.
going to be some OP ranged.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
like Boomkin. Who knows?
Like,
it could be.
Like Restokin.
Restokin.
Boomkin is hidden OP.
Boomkin is hidden OP. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, the first thing you'll do is log on, get booted due to lag, and then log in again, get booted, lag because of server crashes and DDoSes. Okay, fair enough.
Hey, that's fine. You know, you get knocked out of game faster, so that you can log into your other character for a second, then you get booted off again. You know, so then you get your rested XP working.
Wow. Not really helping, Jack. Not really helping.
What?
Is artifact knowledge account-wide or character-specific? It is character-specific.
It's like garrisons. It's like, hey, how about this grindy thing? Character
Contain
specific.
17 alts once again.
Yeah.
Oh.
It is character-specific.
Yep.
Yep. Per character. Artifact power is per weapon. Per weapon.
Everyone's freaking out about the servers, and then other people are saying that there's nobody that plays the game, like Marty in chat. Like, what was it? Wad brought us back to like the highest subs it ever been, and then subsequently it dropped. You know,
of course.
I thought it was like a 10 or 11. You know, but
it's always going to be a peak at launch.
Yeah, I think there's still going to be a huge amount of people that are going to come for the game's launch. It's always a big deal.
Yes, Legion is 3 a.m. Eastern. It's 12:01 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or Daylight Time, whatever, on Tuesday morning. Because Blizzard is in California, so midnight 01 a.m. So, indeed. Now we have a little bit more time to take some questions. We started so late. For an average sort of mythic raiding guild, do you think the class stacking for healers is super detrimental?
No.
My guild has 2 holy priests, and wondering if we'll ever.
Oh, that's even better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of flexibility there.
Yeah, they don't. If they lose too much taking if we don't take 4 to 5 different healers.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No, you'll be fine. It's like one thing if you have like 3 holy paladins, it's kind of a problem. But you know. It'll vary by classes and stuff like that, but, you know, at a lower level, it's not that big of a deal. Not that big of a deal at all. Yo, Knuckles, you don't even know about the Symbol of Hope Dream. You don't even know.
The Symbol of Hope Dream.
Dude, it's awesome. Like I said, I was at Reckoning, and one day we had 3 holy priests, and we all just chain spammed our Symbol of Hopes on the boss fights. It was great.
Really?
Symbol of Hope is overrated.
It was awesome. It was like 18, 20 seconds of no mana spending.
It's overrated.
Another question about what place is Discipline going to have in Legion, mainly for Mythic Plus? I mean, probably not much in that. Again,
not
Zach,
so much in Mythic Plus. I really would like it to be because I think it's a lot more fun in Mythic Plus. But the fact that it's going to have not much in the way of like emergency healing or something like that. There's a lot of preparation. The fact that you're constantly going to be maintaining 5 atones can really wear on your mana pretty quick, but that's not as big of a deal because you can just drink. But it's going to be a little scary for Disc.
Sure.
They can do it over time, but I think Holy's going to be the stronger of the two, for sure.
I don't know. This question has come up before. I mean, Val can go to it. It's not a range DPS question. I don't know. This kind of stuff. You've brought this up before, Odessa. I don't know why you're so hell-bent on this, but do you think Blizzard will ever fix Retribution Paladin and make them acceptable as damage, reg utility, mobility, and Paladins in general? Also drop the whole hybrids get to do less damage. They already dropped that in Warlords. There's no hybrid tax anymore.
They say there isn't, but
They say.
They say.
Yeah.
But like, there's some certain situations like you still gimped in some way because let's say a mage against a priest. A mage has 3 different specs. Chances are that like all of those 3 specs are gonna be good at least one scenario each.
Right.
Priest has 1 DPS spec. Either you're good at like one thing, or you're like at like 2, 3 things. So I'd rather have like 3 options to like tailor my spec to what I'm doing than like being my priest.
Yeah, I guess also like damage is just tuning. They reg utility. They have the only buffs in the game technically. They
utility.
just buff.
That's a trigger word for people.
I'm right. They still bring freedom and bop. They have Blessing of Might, Kings or Wisdom. Wisdom will be really good on long fights for progression. Like that extra mana will be incredibly important for those healers over like a 10-minute long encounter like Xavius. Mobility, they just buff Divine Steed because they complained for so long. Like, so I don't get it. Like, I think it should totally be fine. I mean, it all comes down to how well you handle that spec. And then Outlaw Rogue came up as the best spec for Rogue. I have no idea. I mean,
roll the bones. RNG.
It's the best thing. Need more RNG.
That's
and
right.
Good.
Outlaw and Assassination are both really strong, and through murmurs in chat, Subtlety will outscale it, but I don't know how that makes sense. I mean, technically it did in HFC only because of the ring. So, the ring and Shadow Reflection were the only reason why Subtlety went so high. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, how likely will they remove the Razor Synapse macro for Fel Rush? Well, they don't have to remove right now. Fel Rush is broken. It doesn't even work all the time anyway. So, and probably almost impossible, I imagine, because it's a third-party thing. I don't know how you break third-party things. I have no idea. Oh, here's a question about third-party things from a healer perspective. And I guess from a range, because you're staying out there in your range clump, Val. But, Jak, what are your thoughts on the breaking of the range finder stuff?
Oh, yeah, that's right. People would still find ways to ignore that anyway. So I'm inclined not to be that worried about it because we tell people to spread out. We knew that everyone automatically had the range radars up.
Right.
And people would still get like knocked up from Shadowfell, or they'd still splash onto each other in Gorefiend, all that other stuff. So I'm not too worried about it. I believe that it's going to break the replay ability for Warcraft logs. I don't know if that was just a rumor or not, but if it breaks that, that's a problem, I think.
It's a minor problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a problem for like log reviews and stuff, you know? Yeah.
I mean, will that be any...
This thing's big.
Yeah, how will that work for like a range DPS clump? Because you guys are like, if you have to be 4 yards apart or 6 yards apart and you never really know, I guess you just overestimate all the time.
You have a general idea if you've played the game a long time.
Of course.
And like we've seen it more and more, like in the more recent times that they have like built telegraphed abilities, like where you actually see the ring around you, so you know like how far you are, like how far out you're gonna like hit people with certain abilities. So they're probably gonna do that more. So we're not like super reliant on like guessing.
And then I'm not surprised because there had to be some kind of pushback against how much add-ons can do. You know, when add-ons make such a significant difference for people doing an entire encounter, you know? Comparing the, 2 guilds that didn't use add-ons for, like, Archimond versus everybody else on the planet, you know?
Right.
Kind of is a big deal. So, yeah, unfortunately. But I can't say I'm surprised. I thought that at some point, if things got, like, super, super advanced, they would just start having to break weak auras or break big chunks of it up to keep it from doing things. But, you know, maybe we're experiencing the beginning of that. I don't know.
Sure.
We'll all stuck being using Tell Me When. Yeah, that'll be the nightmare.
No,
that'll be the nightmare.
Oh,
That's not the solution. You just go back to power auras.
Oh no.
That's right. I forgot about
Good
that.
old power auras.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't. It's part of this conversation in chat happening right now. I just don't understand. A lot of you shooting shots that I kiss Blizzard's ass. Yo, I spent 6 months breaking down every single spec in the game and submitting bug reports and things about how things are broken and or wrong or won't work, and giving suggestions. I have no favorites here, man. Like, I don't understand this. Like, people are like, well, Arms Warrior is really good, but why is Ret bad? Ret has better utility than an Arms Warrior, and it has more consistent damage because Arms is all RNG. So, like, what? Not all RNG, but a lot more of it is RNG. Like, there's such a weird thing. People are always asking about Outlaw Rogue being so good, but it's RNG, but it sims well. But Ret has no RNG, and it's just
and there's no execute with Red, right?
No, there isn't. But Arms execute.
So,
I mean, execute for Fury and Arms Warrior is their little niche, right? It's their.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
Is that in progression though? If you're not even hitting the point where you're getting into execute phase, then that's a problem.
How good are warriors? I mean, you're going to eventually get there, sure, of course, but all the way there, yeah.
Yeah. If there's like certain breakpoints of like you have to meet this damage check until you get into last phase, and then in that last phase you finally get into execute. Well, if you're not getting there to begin with, kind of problem.
Yeah, the range function is broken. Cloudberry Live. They're removing the functionality for any add-ons in 7.1, in patch 7.1, but that's Karazhan and the Little Raid. They are breaking the functionality for add-ons to check the range of things in the room.
Does Arms not even use execute when they get the... Chat is saying that they don't use execute. Is that talking about pre-patch, or are you talking about in Legion with the artifacts?
You don't execute until you get that proc, and you only execute when you get the proc. Otherwise, it's not worth it. Gotcha. Whereas Fury Warrior
is it Fury?
Spams execute, yeah.
Okay.
Because of Juggernaut or whatever it's called. Oh, about the Razor Synapse macro again, is it even possible that you can get banned or even suspended for using the macro? I don't know if you could or not. I don't know.
Which one?
There's a Razor Synapse macro you can make that will cast Fel Rush and then immediately cancel it, breaking it with the glide command, I want to say. So you can basically just stutter step Fel Rush and get the damage and the Fury generation on a Havoc Demon Hunter. All in, like, not even have to move.
You can do it with a regular macro as well, but it's just...
That sounds like it's going to get broken again. Sure. Or it's going to get removed or something.
Well, they're trying to fix it. They're trying to break it, but...
They're trying to fix the first... Well, I guess not anymore. The spaghetti code and having small bag sizes in the first bag slot, right? Yeah. But that's too spaghetti coded up that they can't do it.
That's forever ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it viable to have a lot of the same armor type users? Not if you're running split. I mean, if you're running one run.
I mean, people are just going to fight over gear and hate each other.
Right.
You know?
I mean, if you're not running split runs, it matters.
It's not optimal, but like if you play as a best in those classes, yeah, go for it.
Right.
If you have a Chancelers in the raid.
Sure. Exactly. Oh, Aladia's only comeback is Arms Warrior has Bladestorm. You know they nerfed the crap out of Bladestorm, right? The benefit of Bladestorm now is you spec Ravager, and you get to AoE while you're AoEing on a 1-minute cooldown. That's the benefit. No, Arms Warrior will be definitely using Execute once you get whatever that proc is. Yeah. One of their artifact perks.
Their range chat. Now we're getting into the Arms Warrior.
Well, I'm just going through looking at questions. People, I mean, yeah. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. I just think it's funny. Like, people, like, this is the same thing I brought up with Jak. Like, people were trying to dumpster discipline really early on. Watch Watch. Stuff that's going to happen, and it's going to be hilarious. Like 3 months from now, or like in Nighthold, right? All of a sudden, you're seeing like the top guilds run double disc. Or you'll see the top guilds like bring ret paladins because they're so amazing, right? It's going to... No one thought enhancement challenges were good until Iliao broke Mythic Imperator, and then we got us nerfed because we were so good at that fight for a world first, right? This kind of crap happens all the time. I don't give in to this naysayer negative Nancy bandwagoning. What a waste of your time. What a waste of your time.
We'll see. There's some crazy trinkets in the Nighthold, though. One of them, like, instead of your next spell costing mana, it refunds you mana. So you can just cast your most expensive spells.
This is for healers?
For healers, yeah.
Who's that on,
you a
though?
big chunk of mana. It's a Nighthold. It's one of the lady bosses.
Trinket, right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's a trinket. It's insane. I don't know what it's called, though.
Razor Vision brings up one of the scary questions, Val. How well do Shadow Priests scale?
What?
You are always worried about scaling.
I know.
Always.
They scale pretty good. You know, you get more haste, you get more crit, you can stay long and surrender to madness, and you destroy the meters even more.
Because you talked about,
they scale good.
Because I brought up earlier how, like, earlier on, or like a more unskilled player with Sword to Madness will only be able to stay in S2M for so long, but you said eventually, once you get, because you said more spirits, that means more crit, or more shadowy apparitions, rather, that you could stay in
shadowy
for,
spirits, yeah.
like 2 minutes, you said.
Yeah, like, at some point, we're probably going to reach the 3-minute mark.
3-minute mark?
Yeah, you're going to go full out.
You're going to go all the way.
At some point, I guess.
I'm gonna wait to see the day where we get 3 minutes of S2M Shadow Priests. I don't know about that. That seems a little ridiculous. I mean, you literally are just like, what's the rotation? You're just like, because you're so fast, you actually can't hit any other button.
Under your desk.
When you get to 100 stacks, it gets kind of intense.
Do you just like hit Mind Blast and Void Spike and just spam both buttons over and over again on your keyboard? And
Void Bolt. No,
just Void Bolt.
It's Void Bolt. Yeah. No, there's certain like sequences you're gonna go through is when you have like stuff down. You're gonna
at 100 stacks, don't you die in 2 seconds?
Wow, yeah, it's something like 2 seconds.
It's like under 3 seconds. It'll drain.
Yeah.
It's 50 insanity a second, right? It drains?
It's pretty fast. It drains a lot. I can't remember the exact numbers.
Like,
but like when you get up there, you're gonna have your power infusion.
Right.
You're gonna be spamming pretty much Void Bolt, Mind Blast, Void Bolt. When you have it up, Shadow of Death, Void Bolt, Shadow of Death, Void Bolt, Mind Blast. So you're gonna be in that rotation where you're pretty much just spamming like instant spells and then Mind Blast. And it changes up when you get if you get the legendary belt that increases your mind blast stacks. So
interesting.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. This is something we can talk about more on a different stream. Odessa with that stuff. I don't know. Monkey was still talking about disc in 2016. What a butt.
Yeah. He's scared, man. I'm telling you.
He's scared.
I think we're scared of Holy than this, but just wait.
We're about at a wrap-up time here. How many artifact points will the average person have? You mean at 110, I assume, Daniel. 11 to 110, you get, what, like 13?
It's like the
100 to 110?
There's like some lexicon somewhere in a Google Doc where someone may calculate how much you're going to make.
I have Kib's document. Let me just grab this real quick. Again. Kib, let me put your document out there for everyone to click on. Here, artifact power.
My experience 100 to 110 was just getting like 13-ish.
Right.
Because you get like 13 and change if you're picking up all the treasures and stuff like that along the way, which are really easy to find, actually. I think once you get like the handy notes version of it and stuff like that, you should get like 13 and change. Just because 14 is so expensive.
Right.
So you could probably get like all 13 for your first weapon, and then like a handful, like 2 to 3 for your next weapon, depending on how hard you go with getting every single treasure along the way and things like that. So.
Oh, here's a meta question then. I mean, this maybe is something you... Val's background on this is kind of skewed, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's different now. So how do you convince people or players that they shouldn't worry so much about their quote-unquote utility and worry more about just playing their class well, at least from a DPS standpoint?
Well, if you're dead,
people like.
No, I mean, if you're dead, you can't use your utility. Simple as that.
Okay. don't expect Surrender to Madness confirmed by Jak.
Yeah,
Basically.
I'm just saying.
So, yeah, no, I mean that's
just with any class though. If you're not alive, you can't use whatever you're brought for. You know, if you can't do any damage, then how good's your little bit extra utility? You know.
Because was that different? I mean, coming from the raid scenario you had in Method and where you are now, Val, like, does that... how does that mentality work from that perspective? Like, what changes? Do you... Because you're not, like, class stacking as much anymore now, but you used to. Like, whatever was hot in the patch, you have to because you're under level. You're under geared for that progression mark. So how does that... So what do you think that question works? How do you convince a player that they shouldn't worry too much about their utility, worry more about them playing their actual class?
That's difficult because I would say it's mostly a mindset thing. Like,
yeah, I
didn't have the same mindset until like when I was like 2 years into playing in Method. No way. That has changed with time and experience, and I think it's very difficult to change the paradigm people are seeing things through. So, yeah, people will learn. What you can guide them. You can't necessarily change their opinion, but you can lead the way.
Lead by example. Lead by example.
Light a path.
Follow. I mean, I was playing Holy in HFC progression when there was like a handful of people who were playing it, and you know, when I first got into that guild and I was talking to them about playing Holy for them, I mean, I was talking to one of my buddies who was an officer. He's like, "Oh, let me ask the GM," because I mean, they just needed a healer, and the GM responded. He's like, "If good, why not?" So, you know, get good, and just focus on your mindset that while the other healers or while the other DPS or while the other people in your same role might be your friends, or you know, you might want to be friends with them or something like that. When you're applying into a guild or when you're fighting for a raid spot or something like that, you know, they're not really your friends. You're your competition. You know, and then once you prove yourself from that point, then you're in a better position to be all friendly with people. But, you know, focusing on doing your job to the best of your ability, maximizing your effect on the raid, and giving people a purpose to bring you. That's what it's all about. So. And proving that, you know, somebody who's dying more on progression, even if they may have, you know, a more optimal technical spec, but if they're dying, if their performance is low, if they don't respond well to criticism, all these other factors, you know, you should always be prepared to make an argument for why you should be brought over somebody else.
Right.
If you want to be in on all the fights. I know people love chilling through progression, but I hate
you can
that
also
stuff.
put it into another context. It's I often speak to people about like how much effort they put into raiding when they're not like, because people want they want to min-max, they want to have the best, like.
But how much time are they spent doing it? It's like making gold.
Yes,
it's like people want to make gold.
That's the
like
thing,
how much time do you spend making gold?
When I look at my experience in Method, like the amount of time I put in there for what I achieved, I would say that was worth it for me at that point. But like, I see some of the time that like people outside the top 5 put in, and I'm like, with my experience and knowledge now, I would never do that. It's not worth it, in my opinion. Take this very specific. In my opinion, it's not worth it to take time off from your job, from school, and stuff like that, just to get a top 5 spot. No way, in my opinion, based on my experience, is it worth it. Never.
There's a weird.
In your experience, for one actually second, doing that.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly. It's not worth it. If you're fighting.
There's a weird back and forth in that regard. I mean, granted, there's like the E-fame angle, and if you're in a guild that benefits from that, like if you're a streamer or a YouTuber in some regard, then there is some sort of a back end like business standpoint where that is.
Yeah, but if you are a YouTuber or a streamer, you're likely not like school full time, or you have a full time job. That's what
sure.
It's usually the people at the top of the pyramid that are actually getting the benefit of it.
But even the top of the pyramid, like what?
Method.
Like what? Well, what do you like? Those players aren't being sponsored like an esports team. I've always had this kind of argument with like professional, quote unquote, professional World of Warcraft end game dick slam rating hardcore guilds, like the 5 or 8 of them that exists. Like, honestly, it's a competitive thing for them, but they don't get any. What do they get? Are they getting like sponsorship deals from Logitech that they're going to pay them like 50 grand a year to play World of Warcraft? No, they're not an esports team. They're not TSM or CLG or Curse or anything like that. They're not getting any huge benefit from that.
You can't pay 30 people.
Yeah.
No, but like at that point, I would compare it to like having a regular hobby where you're like top end, let's say badminton. You're not playing a professional level, but like you go to tournaments and such. You take off time from your job, your school to do that. I would compare that to raiding at like the very top level where you actually compete for like the first and second, third spots. But like outside of that, you don't gain anything.
Sure.
There's not tournaments to make money out of and things like that, and to provide sustainability.
No, if it's fun for those players and they want to raid 18 hours a day and just raid sleep and have nothing else to do, that's totally on them. But like, that is such a small portion. It affects like what, 200-ish people in the world, or maybe 500. You know, broaden up a little bit. Like, that's not even. It's such a weird thing, and so many people. This is a podcast, by the way. There's no gameplay. Those of you that are asking all of a sudden, this is a show. I go to this screen because we're wrapping up now. So I go to this screen because we're basically wrapping up. Like, it's such a weird thing to me. And to piggyback off what Val said, a lot of you throwing shots earlier about like I should lead by example and I should have sat myself on Mythic Blackhand progression because I was an enhancement shaman at the time and it was like not really good to take. But I was still better and ranked better than 99% of all raiders that play this entire game ever. By playing a suboptimal class. Elitist, yeah, elitist! So like, what? That's why it doesn't matter to me. Like, even if I ranked that high, what is that? Okay. I'm doing the big arm shrug right now. Okay, whatever.
Slam those dicks.
Right, exactly. It's so weird to me that this mentality just kind of, it doesn't plague everyone, but it does plague some points right now, and it's just weird.
Like, indeed, the mentality about bring the best at all times at any cost, it's gone way too far out. Like, I'm fine with it, like, for the, like, top 3 race, but, like, outside of that, like, just play what's fun. Play what you like. Don't go all out and, like, crazy about stuff that's not really gonna impact in any way.
That importance.
Oh, good for me. I handicapped my guild by performing better than 99% of all their players in the game. Yeah, I handicapped them so much.
I mean, you're not the raid leader, are you?
No.
You're not an officer, are you?
Yeah. No, I'm not an officer either. I'm just
So is it your decision whether you go in and on fights, or is it the raid leader's decision?
Yeah, it would be the leadership decisions always when you're making a group.
So there you go. Like, they could choose to bench you if they wanted to.
Right.
End of story.
True.
If they thought that you were chipping them in the side by being there, they would have sat you.
Right.
End of story.
That's very true too. It all comes down to your group makeup and your groups and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh my goodness. But closing remarks then. Jak, anything you want to leave the healer community with about stuff, about things?
About things?
Before we wrap up here? Yeah. What you got?
Well, I mean, I gave my ranking in chat. You know, just don't play monk and you'll be fine.
Wow.
Just play. The healer balance is going to be as close as it's ever been. Just in general. I think it's going to be way closer than last expansion, the expansion before that, things like that. You know, play what you want. Be very good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was just kidding about monks being bad. I just like messing with Monkio about it. Don't worry, Casso.
Right.
Casso Shinobi. You know, play what you want. Play it well. If, you know, find people who are good at it and learn from them. Keep an open mind with things. Don't just concede to public opinion. Because a lot of times it can be wrong. Things like that.
And also follow Jak on Twitter and on Twitch so you could bother him for healer questions.
At AutomaticJak on both of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your socials will definitely be no C.
Yeah, there's no C in Jak.
No, in
Automatic.
Jak. Yes.
JAK. Yeah.
How about for range DPS stuff, Val? What you got for the range DPS meta situation here, or for Shadow Priest in general? It's been a bit of a rocky back and forth every expansion. Shadow Priest keep changing, but yeah. So what do you have to leave the peoples with?
Follow your heart.
Wow.
And play according to that.
Wow. Follow your. That's like some Pocahontas level stuff right there.
No, that is
that ended
Priest
up for her.
Discord.
That's priest.
Follow your heart and you'll be fine.
Wow.
Oh, that's right. If you want to find me on Discord, there's the General Hospital Discord, which is like all the healers and stuff like that. I think
it'll be the General Hospital is linked in my new Google document. You'll have all those links very, very soon.
Yeah.
All those links very, very soon.
Heart of the cards.
Believe in the heart of the cards, exactly. That makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I misspelled glaive in chat. Well, all right, I'm gonna wrap this up then. I guess I'm gonna bounce out of here. For this is the last and final third pass for Legion Open Q&A stuff. Again, if you guys have questions for either of these, is Val streaming or some YouTube guides? Val, do you stream or YouTube stuff?
I plan to stream some more, like some Legion.
Right.
I do have some stuff on YouTube, primarily for now on the How to Priest YouTube. But I plan to like do some videos. I have some, I think, like a few planned for my own channels. So
Slack. I got my video guys out.
Yeah.
Jak's laying down the law on that one. That's straight up. You gotta catch up.
I think
I have two guys
still on my Twitch channel.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so that is that. That's it. I really don't have any way to wrap these up because these are like the sort of third pass-ish open. I guess announcement-wise, the official show will be coming back after the Mythic World First Xavius interview. So there'll be no more live shows until Xavius Mythic World First, and then whoever wins that, Serenity, whoever that show, and then that'll be on Sunday, and then of course Sundays after that we'll start the regular interview junket. And again, the channel guide will be updated soon. If you've missed part of this episode, of course, the VOD will be cut here on Twitch, and I'll also be uploading this to YouTube as I normally do. It'll be uploaded online tomorrow, and you'll also be able to find the entire podcast as a audio only on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play Music, and of course my website, FinalBoss.tv. So you can watch it here or on YouTube or on any of those audio sources if you so will it. And I'll be updating the channel guide, of course, with all the other episodes. And if you've missed the last two third pass Q&As, they're of course already online. So you can check all of those out. These nerds have their social stuff that'll be in the YouTube stuff, and that's to do it for us. Do you want to say bye, nerds? Say bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, can I do a fancy outro?
Okay, what's your fancy outro?
Is there?
What is?
Vote Knuckles for president 2020. First Azeroth, then the world.
That's what he has to do to not get benched.
Yes, that is my secret tactic.
That's how you not get benched? All right, I'll allow it.
That's right.
All right.
He's here to check it out.
Okay.